Okay. Hey, where's the preview that we're supposed to show of the Netflix thing? Where is it? Mark.
Hold on.
Oh, you're supposed to play like right after.
It's not loading.
Oh, welcome to the Derp with Kurp. While we waiting for this freaking thing that I just wanted to play in the beginning. How close are we to playing this? Should I just introduce the dude, or can we play this wonderful Netflix sponsor that I got for us? Because Netflix doesn't fuck around with people that don't have their tech in order. That's what I was told. Point blank.
No, it's just go with the intro. We gotta. It's
it doesn't work. Is how you telling me? Well, that's the first derp of the episode,
Sorry,
so I guess that's good lerp for that. I guess. Anyway, hey guys, guess what? The Epstein files are out, and they're not good. And that's why I've been Kurp shamaning ever since then. That's why I decided to do an extra special derp this today, because I'm going to bring out this guy that really put me onto a lot of stuff that you should be put onto. He was a former priest with a grotto of the LeVay Church. You know, LeVay, the dope with the bald head, not the other one with the weird eyebrows. And he does exoteric lessons and exposes all their stupid secrets. And I love it. I love his whole thing. So let me bring on Mark Passio right now. And Mark, because I know your guy rails against a lot of shit that I really like somebody railing against. What's it like now when you see this stuff coming out? I mean, you've heard more crazy stories than me, I'm sure.
It's been difficult, actually. People might think that I feel really good somehow about seeing these types of revelations come out publicly, but quite frankly, for someone like myself, this is a situation.
Yeah, right.
You know,
it's
like,
you're not wrong.
Yeah, it's not a surprise to me. I've been talking about what Satanism really is and the activities that go on behind the corridors of power for 2 decades. Going on 20 years. This is my 19th year of doing this publicly, and I've known about what's going on behind the scenes for a lot longer than that. So when I see a lot of newcomers coming to something like this, to information like this, and presenting a bunch of shock and awe and dismay, it's like all that really tells me is how many people are really not paying attention and haven't been paying attention to the events of our world while they've been living in it for many, many years. So I'm not exactly happy about all the people who are late to the party. It's sort of like I've been talking about this for 2 decades, and most people don't want to even have this conversation now. Suddenly,
funny you should say that, Mark.
More open-minded. Yes, go ahead.
I just got to fight with my good friend about having a conversation like that.
Right.
I mean, as you could imagine, I'm a little pushy, but I'll get into a little bit of a purity spiral, Mark, when about pedo cannibalism. I tend to go into a purity spiral.
Just a bit.
I let best be the enemy of good, I guess. So just explain to them what it is in your words. You do it better, I can.
Sure. I mean, I've talked about my background a whole lot, and what people will definitely misunderstand about it is the very first thing I'll say is that while I had a background in Satanism and the dark occult, and I was involved with the Church of Satan, I am in no way saying that the Church of Satan is the organization that runs the world. Far from it. They're very low level. They're there to interface with the public and bring up people with certain characteristics that they feel that they would be capable of grooming for the wider satanic network, which really does have worldwide involvement at the tops of just about every world institution. And the other thing is people have to really make an effort to truly understand what Satanism is from an occult perspective and from a mindset point of view. That's what really has to be understood. This whole idea that Satanism is about the worship of the Christian devil is nonsense.
It's from them.
The reason Satanists want to identify with the archetypal symbol of Satan And the reason they want to put people onto those whole trappings and that general symbolism and aesthetic is because they want religious people to believe that they're devil worshippers, and they don't want them to understand their true mindset. And they want atheists to hear the word Satanism and then associate it with religion. And then they don't understand the true mindset of Satanism.
It works.
It's a very simple dialectic that they put people into, and the people who buy into those nonsensical dialectics of both religion and Satanism, and atheism, both fall into the dialectic and believe what the Satanists want them to believe. They're playing a mind trick on them like they do just about everything else, and most people, quite frankly, just aren't intelligent enough or psychologically sophisticated enough to understand that dialectic and understand how it's being played against them.
Well, I mean, they also poison us. They also are slowing you down with poison.
In the air, the water, the food, the so-called medicine.
I got to think about it through my school shooter pills, Mark.
Right.
So, and you were telling me the people that are really into a real thing, when it gets heavy like that, and I've heard this from other people. They call it the old religion. Nobody says Satanism.
Yeah, inside, that's what they will refer to this mindset and ideology. They call it the old religion. That's about it. They don't really refer to themselves as Satanists as such. The other thing that I have to tell people is, like, when I explain to people my background, the first thing they'll do is say, well, that person can't ever be trusted. And let me explain what that means. When people take that mindset about somebody who's a whistleblower, who came from another team, who came from another side, saw the error of their ways in life, and then tried to make course adjustments and corrections. When other people say, oh, a leopard can't change their spots. Once somebody thinks a certain way, that's it forever. Once they're on one team, they're just committed to that team forever and they can never change. Let me explain what it really means when people take that mental attitude, because I can guarantee you there's a ton of people that'll be listening to me today that'll take that mental attitude.
I know.
What it really means is you don't think you can change. Don't ascribe that to other people, because other people are capable of changing through hard work and an effort of their own willpower.
Yeah.
What it means is you don't believe you're capable of changing because you're weak and lazy. That's what it really means. So don't ascribe that to other people. Ascribe that to yourself.
Well, it's archetypically Satanist. It's like people can't be different or be forgiven. I mean, what's the one theme you hear over and over when people were in the real bad shit? You can never be redeemed after this. No one could ever forgive you, and you can never be good. And that's to let you know there's no point in snitching, because you're bad forever. That's why I don't get these I watch these mafia podcasts, and like, I like them. I want to hear the stories, but they try to make you like sympathize like with the mobsters against somebody that snitched on mobsters. Like I'm in the mob. No, I'm not. I don't snitch on them.
I try to liken it to, like, if a head coach of a football team is not well treated, and he's going to defect, maybe an assistant coach, right? He's not well treated. He doesn't like the head coach and how he's being treated on the team. And he decides to defect and give the playbook over to the other team that his former team was playing. That's what I have done. I am trying to explain the mindset and the tactics that the worldwide cult really uses against people's minds. And I know that from firsthand experience of actually being with them and actually working with them. So I've told my background like an innumerable amount of times on other interviews, but I'll just briefly recount it. When I was in my grade school years, I became very disillusioned with Catholicism, which is what I was brought up in my family background in South Philadelphia, an Italian background. And, I just became very disillusioned and angered at what I felt was the lies and hypocrisy of the church and just religion in general, organized religion. I became very disillusioned with it in my youth. So I sought out the opposite. And I started going to bookstores and occult stores and buying books on different ideologies and different occult systems. And I came across LaVeyan Satanism, and I felt like this is about as close to the opposite of the religious mindset that I was brought up in, And so I fully espoused it. I latched onto that thinking, well, if this is the opposite, then there must be truth to it. A lot of people's mindset works like that. They realize something is a lie, and then they run into the arms of the opposite dialectic,
Right.
thinking that like that's the answer. And often that's also not the answer. It's another dialectic set up to just lead you away from the truth. And that's what really Satanism in the form of LaVeyan Satanism is. And when I say Satanism, I don't just mean LaVeyan Satanism. When I say Satanism, I'm talking about the world system of Satanism.
Yes.
What Epstein is only a very minor, small part of, that goes way beyond someone like Epstein.
You wait.
Encompasses much
You mean
more.
all of your visible world governments? This is the thing. The network you're talking about is very apparent. It's everything you ever see in your whole life. It's not a secret.
Our society is one big satanic ritual.
What does everybody think? They just did a genocide in front of your dumb faces for the last 3 years. They take all your money. Remember, they starved 500,000 kids in Iraq. And was that worth it? I think it was. By the little Albright.
It's one of the things I want to talk about is what is the satanic system on the earth? Because there is a universal system that is put in place to direct things and move things forward in evolutionary progress and consciousness by the creator of the universe. And, I do accept that there is a creator and a creative force that underlies everything, an intelligent underlying creative energy that underlies all consciousness and everything that we see and all laws of the universe. So that's the first thing. If you want to just word it that I believe in God or I accept that there is a God, I'm okay with that language.
They do too.
Yeah, some people are not comfortable with the term God, whatever. I'm fine with it being said like that. I accept that there is a God of creation that set all the universal laws into effect in our universe, and it governs everything. It is truth, it is law, it is
an algorithm,
an expression of higher love, all of that. And I believe that there is a force inherent in creation that acts as the counterpoint to that, the counterbalance to that. In the occult, they call that the involutionary force. It's the force that counteracts the evolutionary force.
Okay.
So there's an evolution force and there's an involution force, something that wants consciousness to be crushed and to be overridden and to just ball up and curl up in a ball and die. It's chaos, it's death, it's involution. Well, that's really what these beings serve. They serve that counter force to good and to order. They serve the evil force. They serve the counter evolutionary force. They serve involution. They serve the force of disorder and death. If you want to look at the worldwide system of Satanism like that, that's a better way of looking at it, that they don't really worship anything but themselves. They consider themselves God.
Right.
So that's part of understanding the mindset of Satanism. Let me just briefly go back to my background. I'll wrap that up. We get into the mindset of what Satanism really is. So, I basically started espousing LaVey's ideology that he put forward in the Satanic Bible and the Satanic Rituals and the Satanic Witch and the Devil's Notebook and all of his other writings. And I latched onto that. I saw it as the opposite of world religion, of the established traditional religion. And I got involved and basically started espousing the ideology through writing and music. I wrote for little fanzines. These are small, put together magazines that they had in music shops and art stores and stuff like that.
How old are you?
I'm now 51 years old.
Okay.
So
I'm 48.
Fanzines were large. They were big when I was growing up in the music circuit. So I started writing articles about Satanism in fanzines, and I started espousing lyrically the satanic ideology that LaVey had put forward in the Satanic Bible through music. I was in a popular East Coast death metal band at the time. We were called Insanity, and they're still around. They still exist.
Right.
My buddy still plays bass and sings for it and still runs the band. They moved to Florida, but we sort of were pioneers in the early East Coast death metal sound. Like we sort of pioneered that sound along with many other bands in the early 90s.
Right.
So LaVey noticed my writing and music. A lot of people think I went after LaVey and begged him to be a priest. It didn't work like that.
Right.
LaVey noticed my espousing of Satanism in writing and music, and he invited me to be a priest in the Church of Satan because he felt I had such a good grasp of the ideology, and I was putting it forward in writing and communication so well. So he actually extended the offer. He first extended the offer of priesthood to
Okay.
me, and that's just one rank above rank and file active member.
Right.
So there's just member, and then above
Mhm.
that is priest. It's not a high rank. Notice that I do not say the words high priest.
Right.
If people hear the word priest, then their mind automatically goes high priest.
Yeah,
No, there's only one high priest in the Church of Satan organization at any given time. LaVey was the high priest at the
Mhm.
time. This was 1996. He died in 1997, I believe, late 97. And he gave me this priesthood, which is just one rank above member. Above that, there was magister, which is like a lieutenant for priests. It's like a governor for the priest class in the body of the Church of
Mhm.
Satan. Above that, you have what's known as the Council of Nine in their ranks.
Oh, the 9. Okay.
Which is a governing body of 9 people that directs day-to-day operations in the organization. And then above that, you have the high priest, who can overrule anybody's decisions and set the course for the organization in the way he sees fit, because it belongs to him. So that was what LaVey was. He offered me the role of priest. I accepted it. He subsequently offered me the role of grotto leader. He wanted me to lead a coven, which is what they call covens in Satanism, in at least LaVeyan Satanism. They call them grottos. Now, another thing people will always get wrong when I talk about my involvement in the COS is they don't know that I used an assumed name. So if you look into the files of the Church of Satan, you will not see the name Mark Passio.
Mhm.
This is what the members of the current Church of Satan want to say that makes me a liar. They want to play this stupid little game that we don't have anybody in the Church of Satan on file as Mark Passio.
What's this thing of like, oh, hey, oh, okay, I'm sorry. I hope I didn't smear any Satanists.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck are you talking about?
So anyway, let me tell you what my actual name that I used was.
I was going to ask you.
Yeah, I took a name from the Gnostic texts, the Gnostic teachings, which are like early pseudo-Christian texts that sort of preceded modern Christianity a bit. And essentially, I took a name of a demon from one of the prominent Gnostic texts known as the Pistis Sophia, which means the faith wisdom of the Gnostics. And the name was Rokar. And Rokar was a cat demon. It was a multi-headed cat demon in this book, the Pistis Sophia. And I am born under the sign of Leo in the zodiac. So I took the name of the cat demon in Gnosticism, which was Rokar. I spelled it slightly differently than the version in the Pistis Sophia. I spelled it Rochar, pronounced Rokar. So if you look into the Church of Satan's records, they will definitely have Reverend Mark Rokar listed in their registry as a priest of the Church of Satan, given the appointment March 19th, 1996, or it was either 96 or 97. I'm blanking on the exact year, but it was around that time period in the mid 90s to late 90s. And LaVey himself signed that appointment. I showed it on my podcast.
Well, I have a question. Yes. Okay, so is that a kind of common practice in that church? Because now that I'm thinking of a couple, like when somebody has the name Faust, for example, and they're like, it's like, is that a common thing people do?
Yeah,
and they
I would say so.
Yeah.
In today's COS, they want your legal government, legal name. I guess because they maybe got tired of trying to track what was an assumed name and what was not. But back when I applied, there was no such requirement to have any kind of ID or anything like that.
Right.
I showed all of my credentials on my podcast. It's very obvious that they're genuine. They're signed by LaVey himself. I got a letter written by his then partner, Blanche Barton, who wrote one of the books about the Church of Satan, called simply The Church of Satan, sort of a history on the organization. She was, LaVey's partner at the time. And, he offered me subsequently a grotto leadership is what I was getting at. And I turned that down. I said I do not want the responsibility to be a grotto leader. I was too involved in my band at the time. We had just gotten signed to a record label in Greece. We were trying to like set up tours and things like that. And I just didn't want the responsibility to run a grotto organization. So I respectfully declined it back then.
Okay.
I was very, very excited that he offered me something like that back then. You know, that I saw that as like, wow, this is incredible. You know, I turned it down. And I told him why. And, you know, he basically then just gave me some contacts of other grottos that I could partner with, attend, see what they were up to, network with in my tri-state area.
Right.
I subsequently went to some of those grotto organizations and meetings and rituals in my tri-state area. And I really then began developing a wider understanding of what Satanism truly was. I realized this is not just some occult information about human psychology that'll give you a little bit of a leg up on your fellow human being. That's egotistically what I was very interested in at the time, what attracted me into occultism in general. And when you know, I did start attending some of these meetings and rituals of these grottos in my tri-state area surrounding the Philadelphia area, I realized that there were people there attending satanic rituals and grotto meetings from every earthly institution of any kind of significance and power on this planet. And I mean high-level people, principals of schools, judges, circuit court judges, politicians, law enforcement, captains of police forces, people involved in the media, you name it, you name the institution, education, law enforcement, politics, banking, military. There were people at high level positions of power in every institutions attending these grotto meetings. And I mean involved with them.
Yeah, right.
Like setting the course of direction of what, you know, they want to get done, what they want to accomplish in society. And they're very, very open, very candid, you know, about how they're going to operate. They refer to people as, you know, the unwashed masses, the unbegun. They haven't even started learning. They haven't even started in their understanding of how the world is structured and set up and who really owns it and runs it. They call people the dead. That was one of the names they refer to people. They call them the dead. That's the average member of the public. That's what they refer to, like listeners of a show like this. That's what they refer to people who attend church every Sunday. That's what they, you know, refer to all the voters out there who are going to change the world by voting in somebody new.
Right.
You know, all the ignorant people out there, they just call people the dead. And their attitude about this is they're just so spiritually and mentally dead. They're so ignorant. They're so apathetic. They're so lazy. They're so cowardly. They so haven't even begun on what's truly important in life and in really getting their head out of the mind control and really understanding how things really work in the universe and all around them in their own lives, that they might as well be referred to as non-living entities.
It's easier to victimize them then also.
Exactly. That helps them to justify all the evil, vile things they're going to do to people throughout the rest of their own lives. And they just call them the dead, and they say, we're not even doing this to living people because look at these people. Do you think that's alive? Do you think that's conscious? Do you think that's active and involved in even their own lives? You know, and you know, in a way, I gotta say, I gotta say, how could I disagree? Right. How could I disagree when you look out there at all the ignorance and apathy and cowardliness and laziness and all the people who like have zero clue. They have zero clue what the ideology that runs the world is. Hopefully they'll start sitting up and paying attention with all the revelations of how this wider network, they capture, they kidnap and capture, they torture, and they murder, they rape mercilessly, they torture mercilessly, and they kill children. They murder children.
And that's just the military.
This is their monetary system.
Right.
See, that's the first thing you have to understand. The people will be like, oh, their money is gold. They only deal with precious metals. You have no idea what you're talking about. Their money is children and the adrenal infected, adrenal punched blood of children that comes out of the adrenal glands that they eventually refine
worse than
and turn
that.
into the drug adrenochrome.
They take I keep saying they use every part of the buffalo because of adrenochrome. You know, now people are, I guess, with the popularity of Bad Bunny, people are getting it. But they every hormone, everything that any emotion you have, they'll harvest all that shit. In fact, and I played this before, Nathan Reynolds, who's hiding out now. I don't know where the hell he is, but he explained it really well, dude, that we have plasma-based medicine. That's 80% of the blood supply. That when people donate blood, don't go for transfusion. It goes to Big Pharma to feed you human-made medicines that the guy from Paranoid American was explaining. They never used to do that. Everything used to be made from plants, synthesized from plants until like scarily recently. And now everybody's a cannibal by default. As well,
that's what they want they want to inculcate the whole population into their own religious mindset, which I'll get into explaining what that actual ideology in the world is. I just want to talk about one aspect that people also always think they know better than people who were really involved. You know, one of the things I want to say, Kurt, is that the world waking up, allegedly, quote unquote, the world waking up, it's a very dangerous mindset for people to be in, because what you have are people who know a little bit, who think they know a lot.
A lot of off ramps to bullshit too.
They don't know a lot. You know, like they don't really want to listen to inside players. Right. They want to believe that they did their little bit of home research and watched some videos and podcasts.
That's what I did.
And now they're an expert on the topic, and they're nothing of the kind. Nothing of the kind.
Are you saying I'm not a real shaman?
I mean, with a hat like that, I would never say you're not a shaman.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what do I got to do over here. Now, I got the hat. I got a esoteric.
I mean, the hat, the pipe. I mean, you're a shaman. What
and
else
I got this from Scott Horton stole wearing hats from Malice. I stole having a pipe from Scott Horton, who, by the way, is just like how you described. Saying Satanism triggers his love of heavy metal, and he can't think about how it might be influencing government, even though he's like really right about so many things. He told me I have a blind spot about that.
Right. I'm not saying that some metal bands don't really talk about Satanism, but most don't. Most metal bands are warning against Satanism. I mean, you go and check out some of Black Sabbath's lyrics. I mean, they were telling people stuff like this was going on back then. You know, when they first came about.
Well, I think they're what do you call it? The what's the guy's Michael Hoffman's the revelation of the method. When Noam Chomsky, when I saw his ass with Steve Bannon at Epstein Island chuckling and having a good old time, I go, oh, because I never thought he always talked out of both sides of his mouth, but manufacturer consent is accurate, 100% accurate to me. And so I'm like, well, how are you this accurate and you understand and you're a linguist?
He can't get past his leftism, his leftism disease.
Well, also his pizza addiction, I'm sure.
Just like a lot of people can't get past their right-wing disease because it's all the same thing. It's all part of the same satanic.
Always a pill. I always got to take a red pill or a blue pill or a black pill. As long as it's alchemy, I guess it doesn't matter.
God forbid, don't take the gold pill and actually get your mind straight, though.
Is that drinking my own pee?
Because no. I mean the true system of alchemy of really bringing your mind up to a higher level of consciousness and understanding what's really taking place.
Mark, I would not even. The reason I found your shit is because I've been on Jimmy Dore's show for a while, and Jimmy doesn't even know you. I want him to interview you.
I was going to say, what's Jimmy's take on all of this? Is he sort of starting to understand,
Jimmy will look at
understand Satanism?
This is why I love Jimmy, dude, because the dude will just look at evidence. Of all the friends I've ever had, and the majority of them, okay, it's always a minority of them that will just look at evidence right when you show it to them, and they don't have like a plaque encrusted position where you have to go, because left and right, let's face it, I think maybe
you start examining
that matrix, that dialectic.
Yeah, you're starting from below zero. You got to work your way up to zero.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so because I was in a doomsday cult growing up, when I watched your lectures about how the satanic system worked, we were taught that. I mean, 100%, we were taught the whole world lies in the power of the wicked one, and that all the governments are part of it, and none of them were God's kingdom. My mother's a dissolution Catholic that became Jehovah's Witness. Honestly, Catholicism is like a seed thing for a lot of other breakaway sex and cults, the
Yes.
disillusioning of children. It's
Yes.
almost like that's their job. And so, I now, what I believe is, I can't even believe what I believe now. Like now that you see the depths of, and it was, so I already was raised understanding that this is evil, but I still didn't get it until I was on Jimmy's show having to look at the news. And
You got to see how things are interconnected. That's the key of a lot of it.
I need to ping
A lot of
information
people
off other things.
Yeah, they don't do enough eclectic research to understand how things are connected.
That's schizo. Don't be schizo.
Another thing people do, I just want to say, for skeptics, hardcore skeptics that are unwilling to listen to somebody just because of their background, two things. Number one, when you're involved at a low level, which I admittedly was, I'm never telling people I was involved at the highest levels of the Satanic network. I would be lying if I said that. I was involved at a low level where they bring you in, they want to vet you, they want to see what you're willing to do, they want to basically psychologically vet your characteristics of your personality and psychology. And they did that a lot with me. And I feel
like how? Like, is there an example of a test?
They gave a lot of small tests, like first of all, putting you on to some information and seeing if you would go out and like try to learn as much about it on your own. Another thing that they did, and they saw that I would definitely do that. I would like do it like to the point of almost obsession with
right. That's what I do. Yeah.
They would also give you little tests to see if you would betray them. One of them would talk a whole bunch of crap on another. And they would then just let you have that information and sit on it and see if you would repeat to the other person what the other person just said about them. So they talked crap on each other, and they would want to see if you could keep a secret. And I was a vault. I never said one word, never passed one thing from one person to another. And when they saw that and realized, hey, this guy can keep his mouth shut, that's when they bring you up a little bit and they start talking about, we're going to start grooming you for this or for this organization. They talked about the organization called the Club of Rome a lot.
Really?
For me, because they felt like I probably would have been a good fit with advancing eugenics, which is one of their tenets. That's one of their main ideologies, is eugenics. And back then I had the mindset that, hey, we do have to cull the population.
Right.
I was right in with them ideologically, which again, we have to talk about what their ideology really is, and how the bulk of the human population also adheres to their ideology. A lot of the people listening to this show right now, or who will hear this podcast, are Satanists, and they don't know that they're Satanists.
Right.
You can be a Satanist, a de facto Satanist, and not know that you are espousing satanic mindset and ideology. And that's most people in the world. Most people in the world have been inculcated into the mindset of Satanism without even knowing it.
Well, you know why? Because you're trained. The thing that Jimmy always would talk about on the show was like, why are you always mad at your neighbor, and why are you not looking upward at your leaders?
Right.
When Trump betrayed everybody who thought he was, I had some hope. I didn't have no faith, obviously, but when he betrayed everyone almost immediately, and then it switched from him being with you to, are you still loyal to Trump? No, I was never loyal to him. I thought he works for me, motherfucker. What are you talking about? There you go.
Most people who are really paying attention know politics and voting is not the answer. It is actually part of the system that I'm talking about, and don't put their faith in any political so-called leaders or politicians. And it's all part of the same system.
Go by actions. What do they actually do?
What is somebody actually doing in the world? And when people say you can't get out of an organization like this, you don't know what you're talking about. You clearly haven't been involved. You clearly don't know how it works. You're talking out your rear end, and you don't know what you're talking about if you make a statement like that. As a matter of fact, they mostly don't care about who comes and goes, especially at the level I was involved in.
Wait, do they get mad if you quit at Hot Topic? No. Like, nobody gives a shit. It's there for that reason.
Yeah, they know you're low level. They know you don't really know where the bodies are truly buried, and I mean that metaphorically and literally. I was not involved in any of their crimes up to this point. They're still psychologically vetting you and seeing how much you can be trusted with, perhaps, sensitive information. They're seeing what you're willing to do, and they're vetting you psychologically at this point. And seeing how they can move you upward, or if they can at all.
Sounds
And
like intel.
to say at this point, it is. That's what it exactly is.
Mhm.
This is just a lower level of intelligence organizations, which are just higher level occult
Right.
organizations. in the
Yeah, they're all
modern world.
covens, all of them.
Yeah. So, to say you can't say you want to leave and they're going to let you go, or they're going to murder me because I'm saying I want to leave the Church of Satan. I mean, you got to be out of your mind. Secondly,
Yeah.
this wasn't even the quote Church of Satan. These were like affiliate grottos is what I would have to refer to them as. Okay. They were just grottos that are connected into the wider satanic network. And there were some members of the Church of Satan present at these grotto meetings and rituals. That's all. When I saw it was like people involved in every level of every institutional walk of life, I really, my mindset changed, because I
Yeah.
was like, this isn't just about people trying to like garner a leg up on their fellow man
Right.
and by getting some tactical advantage psychologically through this knowledge of the occult. These are people who are a tight-knit unit working together worldwide.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I didn't really sign up. Not just were they a tight-knit unit, they're working toward a goal.
Right.
And they're trying to basically enslave people, everybody under them, and they want to be like the managerial class of
Yes.
human beings that are
Right.
managing a slave class. And I didn't sign up for that. I
Right.
never gave my consent. I never vocally spoke my consent to say, hey, I want to
Right.
be one of the managers of all the slaves of the world, and I want to enslave everybody and put them under my will. I
Right.
never signed up to that.
Who would want that?
When I saw that's what they were about, that's what made me take a step back. I still had enough conscience. I still had enough tiny inkling of a good person left inside of me. And believe me, I'll be the first person to tell you, I was a borderline psychopath. I was an absolute piece of trash back then. If I would have met myself, if my current self would have met myself back then, I probably would have put a bullet in him. That's how bad. I'm not kidding. And that's how bad of a piece of trash that I was in life back then.
Right.
And see, I needed that kick in the rear end. I needed that jolt to my spirit to realize, hey, this is a predatory parasite class of people that's trying to put everybody else under them into a state of abject slavery. And I didn't sign up for that for myself. I didn't sign up for that to enslave my family members or my friends or other loved ones. I never consented to that.
Right.
So the little part of me that wasn't an absolute piece of dirt at that point in my life rebelled against that and said, you know what, this isn't what I signed up for. And then I went off into a personal spiritual journey where I recognized I was still a piece of crap at that time. And I had to learn what I had become involved with. And by the way, when I told these people I have a moral problem with what you are doing, they were just like, yeah, whatever. What are you going to do about it? Like, that's the door right there. That's
yeah, they don't got to kill you. They're like, you can't do shit anyway,
out.
motherfucker. Yeah.
Right. They were like, go do your worst. What do you think you're going to do? Who do you think you're going to tell? Who do you think's going to listen to you? And after doing what I've been doing, being a whistleblower, and by the way, whoever's listening to this, I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I personally hate conspiracy theory. I think conspiracy theorists who are laying out conspiracy theories make whistleblowers look bad. I'm not a conspiracy theorist.
Right.
I don't talk about conspiracy theories.
Oh.
I am a whistleblower.
I hypothesize. I'm a conspiracy I'm a collusion theorist, first of all. I don't like the word conspiracy. I say collusion.
I am a whistleblower, an aggregator of knowledge, and an analyst.
Right.
I don't like the term theorist because I'm not theorizing about anything. I am explaining to people what is in the world. There's no theory about it. I don't know it through book knowledge or other people's relaying of knowledge. I know it through firsthand personal experience. And that's what 99.99999% of all other human beings lack, because they were never involved in an occult organization or a fraternal brotherhood or a secret society.
Well, I'll tell you something, Mark.
Zero experience in that realm. And that's why I'm saying it's the optimum to get the knowledge firsthand from somebody that was actually involved and has the playbook. I have the playbook, and I'm trying to give it to other people as a whistleblower.
Wait, so it's funny you say that, because first of all, obviously, that's why I like your stuff so much, dude. Those lectures are great. If you haven't checked out Mark Passio, he's got, I mean, I had to watch it in parts. It was like 12 hours, but you could just get, I love that it's just easy to access, and you just tell me the thing and I don't have to go through. It's great.
Thank you.
The people what I've learned since I've been, so, we almost a parallel way of like, sound like an old comic my age. I was like, I'm not high up, but I met the people, and what I've learned from being around, especially like some of them, sometimes people are overtly Satanist and say they're into it. It's that they've got the dumb, and it just means you're your God. I'm like, well, that's what the world needs more of. Of course, it's not bad. Thank you. But people, especially without going to church, maybe they just went to therapy since they were 5. New York's full of that. They will tell me stories. Everybody's on SSRI, especially rich kids. It's mind blowing to me that the top and bottom. So basically, like my friends, and I they're like old money. They have the lives of the movie Precious, like the top and bottom of society. They don't get enough to eat. They get like Bred's got enough to eat, but they're getting molested by family members. They live in a nicer house, but it's like this weird reflection at the top and bottom, and it blows my. And they're not. They'll tell you stories about their friends, and dude, the amount of fucked up stories that I have about famous people that I'm like, I wouldn't even tell them ever publicly, because they're like, I mean, I believe them because when they were told to me is by someone 9 times out of 10 who didn't understand how bad what they were saying was. Right. That's the scariest thing of all.
And this is because they've inculcated the society into that mindset.
Yep.
And, they have not just the top and bottom, they have the whole society. They have the middle too. They have the middle class wrapped up in their mindset too. So, the first thing is you can leave when you're involved at the level I was involved in. No question about it. They literally said things to me like, you think you're going to wake up the sleeping masses, go do your worst, go tell them what you think you know. Mm-hmm. You'll be mocked and ridiculed. You won't be listened to. You'll be banging your head against a concrete wall for the rest of your natural life until the day you die. And I feel like that's exactly what I've been doing.
I was going to do that anyway, Mark.
Yeah. I mean,
I was already going to do that.
I feel like all of the work that I've done up to this point has been largely meaningless. And I'm not saying it hasn't helped some individuals, but the population is so absolutely dumbed down that you have a situation where people have a soundbite. They hear a tiny little bit in one ear, and then they think they're an expert, and they think they know what this is. And until you've really been involved, you've really learned what it is from an insider perspective, you don't know what it is at all. And the other thing that they'll say is nobody can really change their spots. And again, what that is a completely erroneous view of what human nature is, which has to be understood.
Explain that. I love that. You tell the commandments and that stuff too, by the way.
Yeah. I mean, people will think that human nature is either good or bad. Either like, oh, we're made in the image and likeness of God, and we're generally really good, and or we're totally bad from the minute we come out of the womb. Everything's bad in life. Everybody's just completely fallen and bad, and it'll just keep going on and on and on like that. And these are two babyfied, I mean, absolutely naive baby's view of human nature. It's a naive view of just how everything in life functions. Right. And if anybody still have a mindset like that, you got to come up out of your naive, childish worldview. It's sad, is what.
What if I'm in special forces and I have to kill the bad guys? You notice how they always talk about it like a child? Because how will I make you a killer that will do that? And then sit with what you did for a satanic country the rest of your
you
life.
can't
unless
do
I
that
make
with
you
a
baby.
mature perspective and a mature, informed mindset. Of course, that's
Yeah.
why they want to target young, naive people at the while they're still in their teens, and then turn them into, psychopathic killers who only
Yeah.
obey their master's orders.
They never want an adult soldier. They always want, at the end of the day, a child
Of
soldier,
course.
a really precocious, obedient killer that ain't going to think too hard about the big picture or the
Right.
things they're doing because mommy and daddy said this is good. They want you to be an adult with the mind of a child, and you
Yep.
can pull the trigger.
That's why they want people with a childish mindset when it comes to human nature. With this simplistic and dualistic mindset. Humans are like born out of the womb, either good or bad, or taking this genetic, nonsensical genetic approach to it.
Your tabula rasa or something. They have a phrase for it. But you said this is like a secret that they have about this.
It's one of the most protected occult pieces of knowledge. And that's all the word occult means. Occult means hidden.
Mm-hmm.
This is hidden from you. You're supposed to remain a dumb, naive child. And the masters of the world who are owning and running society, and they're basically looking at themselves as your God and you're their slave, they'll know this. They understand how this really works in life. And then you don't, as a naive, basically childish imbecile.
What is it?
You're supposed to be kept in that mindset. And here's that piece of knowledge.
Yeah.
Human nature is programmability.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
One word. If you can't define what human nature is in one word, you don't know what it is.
Mm-hmm.
And that doesn't mean that I'm saying human beings are computers. I'm saying that similarly to computers, human beings can be programmed through information that is coded into them.
Computers came after humans, everyone.
Imagine someone saying the phrase, I always say this in podcasts and interviews. Imagine someone saying to another person, computers are evil by their nature.
Right.
Or imagine someone saying, you know what? Computers are angelic and godly by their nature.
Right.
You'd be thrown in a padded room. You'd be locked away.
Or a millionaire, and you'd start your own thing if you wanted.
Imagine saying a computer is a very angelic thing by its nature, or it's a very demonic thing by its nature. You'd be looked at as insane. Computers compute. They rearrange structure and output information that is put into it. That's it. It's input, it's processing, and it's output. And human beings work in a similar way. Although they are not computers, they work similarly to that in life, where information gets put into a human being's mindset, and then they process it, and they make decisions about how they're going to behave in life based on the informational input and processing that they have undergone. And then that comes out onto the screen of life, the output stage, as behavior in life. This is not difficult to understand, ladies and gentlemen. This should be common sense knowledge, but instead of being common sense and known widely, this is occulted knowledge, that's what human nature is. And this is why Satanists want to hide what human nature is, because they want to be the programmers. They don't want you to reprogram yourself. They don't want you putting unbelievable amounts of eclectically gathered information into yourself so that you can process it and come to understand how the world really works, and then subsequently change your behavior in life to align it with true morality and natural law. That's the last thing the Satanists want. They don't want a well-informed, intelligent society that's capable of critical thinking and capable of the understanding of real morality. And that's what they don't want. That's the absolute enemy to them. Okay, they want people locked into a religious mindset. They want people locked into a political mindset. They want people locked into an atheistic mindset. They want people locked into a solipsism mindset, which means they don't believe there's any truth to be discovered, that everything is just relative and it's all just perception and there's no objective truth to be discovered. Those are the mental ideologies and states they want people locked into. And that's because there are two systems working on the earth, and all an individual's ultimate decision and will in life needs to be to do is to either align themselves with one of these systems or another.
Yeah,
and here's what these two systems are. There is a satanic system on the earth, which is what these Satanists, for lack of a better term,
the adversary.
call them the adversarial people in the world, the people who are going to champion the force of involution, of dumbing people down, holding their consciousness down, holding it back. By the way, that's what the word religion means. It comes from the Latin relegare, which means to hold back from forward progress.
It
Look up
does?
the term.
I
That
thought it
is-
was religio, and it means but now I remember what it means. I didn't know that.
People want to obfuscate the etymological origin of the word religion. It
Oh,
absolutely is derived from the Latin verb religare, religare. That's where it comes from. And it means binding. And that's why people want to say it means contractual,
right.
as if with contractual with God. So
wow, they
the
deal with
binding-
bail. Yeah.
Yes, the binding nature of a contract comes from the Latin term religare, to bind, to hold back, to thwart, to bind from forward progress. And what they're binding you from is truth and higher levels of awareness and consciousness, because that's what all religious systems do. They hold people back from actual cosmic truth, from real understanding of how things really work in nature, which is natural law. That's what all religion is designed to do. And I do not just mean cultural, traditional religious belief systems like Christianity, Judaism, Islam, Hinduism, Buddhism, etc. They are grouped in with the umbrella term I'm using, religion. But do you know what else is religion? Worship of money is religion. Pure egotism is religion. Solipsism is a religion. The belief in human authority of some people over others is a religious belief system. The belief in politics and political structures and political parties is a belief system. The worship of medicine and science is a belief system. These are all belief systems. These are all religions. It's not just the cultural religions that we have names for, that that we consider a religion with a priest class and churches and synagogues, etc. It's not just that I am calling the word religion. The Satanists, the Satanic network, want everybody completely attached and violently latched onto to a religious belief system.
Yeah.
And most people within the sound of my voice, they have deeply entrenched, fervent religious belief systems deeply embedded in their mindset.
You've been to an Eagles game and seen the violence, I'm guessing. That's what I'm getting from
that. You want to talk about a religion? Philadelphia.
I'll put him against Boston any day. All right.
No better example of religious thought. There's one.
Long jersey on the Eagle side of the.
Imagine being that kind of a child. I mean, I wake up in a grateful mindset. Sometimes I wake up in an absolutely dejected mindset, realizing what's still going on in this world when it comes to the rape and murder and torture of innocent children. Kills me.
Yeah.
Sometimes makes me want to knock it out of bed every day.
You got to process it. I got to process it.
And thank God, I still thank the Creator every day that I'm not one of those stupid morons that worship sports. Could you imagine even calling yourself a human being, let alone a male, let alone a man? And this is what you concern yourself in the mind with.
Oh, wait! You just reminded me. You just reminded me of something, which it's related, but sounds like it's out of left field. But you just triggered it. When you were in that, and this is a phenomenon that I'm like, what in the hell's going on with anytime, especially influencer shit and especially politics. You know how everybody could legally, if you're gay, and I'm for everybody being their sexual orientation as long as it's adults, but why are there still closeted people? And in the Church of Satan, did you see people that were hiding that they were gay still, even though they're in that?
Never.
Oh, that's
never.
good.
Oh, it was so candid of how they spoke amongst each other. And let me tell you something, folks. If you think this is like all rich white men at the
You
highest
know
level
shit
of
if
the
you think
corporate,
that. Yeah,
it's again, it's people who know zero about the occult world.
that's
None,
right.
nothing, zero, less than zero,
You're
because
being racist.
they have nonsensical,
Right.
entrenched beliefs that they're
From
latched
movies.
onto. Yeah, Hollywood and
It's
religion.
grooming, all of it.
Hollywood and religion are there to tell you stories to make you want to believe what they want you to think Satanism is, and it has nothing to do with what it really is. You know, the idea that there's no eclectic races or cultures or belief systems or how about this monetary classes, it's all just rich people. You're out of your mind.
Right.
Some of the poorest people I've ever been around, I was poor at the time that I was, and I don't consider myself not still poor, you know. I mean, at the meager amount that I make doing this kind of work, I don't consider myself, I consider myself like barely middle class.
You got to have $1 million to be middle class, everyone.
Today,
just so you know. Yeah.
You know, you got to be making a couple 100,000 a year, maybe 100 at least. I don't even make that much. I'm still less than where I was when I left the corporate world to do this full time. I still have taken a hit financially and can, struggle sometimes, man. I'm not too proud to say that.
Yeah, I don't listen. I've been up and down the whole time.
Food on the table or shelter, or I'm still able to run my operation. But man, I got to think about money like everybody else does.
Yeah,
I'm not sitting pretty doing this.
It is binding, isn't it? Wait,
yeah.
The thing about because you said they had their own secret commandments, like one was "Don't be stupid." You know, like they had rules that they don't say. But we go through those because I thought it was very interesting.
Sure. Just wrapping up, that this is a wide, eclectic variety of people. They come from all backgrounds, all ostensible religious backgrounds.
Yep.
From families that are
There's working class part of this. How did Epstein do what he did? How do any of them do what they do? They have servants. You can't do without it.
They're far less concerned with status in society than they are with what is your deep understanding of what the satanic ideology really is. How are you going to propagate that outward into the world? What kind of occult and communication capabilities do you have? How are you an influencer toward other people? And then they'll set you up in that regard and let you go to the races with poisoning people's mindset and worldview. That's what they really want.
Yeah.
So you're referring to a document known as the Satanic Sins.
Yes.
Let me bring it up real quick.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, the people don't get. It's not just rich or poor. Jay Parker. I saw you do interviews with him, and I didn't know Arden, Delaware feeds into Rose something, which is the rich people doing that shit.
So Rose Valley, Pennsylvania. It's what he considers an occult center regionally of this region of the country, and I would not doubt it or disagree. I can see that Philadelphia and the surrounding area is actually an occult stronghold.
Of course,
in the country. So what you were referring to is the 9 satanic sins.
Yes.
I'd like to give the basic tenets of Satanism, and then we'll get into that, because they have rules for thee, but not for me.
Right.
They have specific rules for themselves that they try to enact, but they try to push those things onto everybody else. So the first thing is you have to understand what their real mentation and ideology in the world is, because Satanism is not it is a religion. Okay. But it is not a religion of worship. It is not a traditionalist religion that includes worship of a deity or entity. You have to understand that these people see Satanism as a symbol. They see Satan as a symbol that rebelled against God and is the adversary for God's system. So you got to see things as a system working in the world. Okay. Right. That's the mindset you have to first understand. Satanism is championing an ideological worldview and system that is operating here on earth. It is not, that's an external deity called Satan and I bow down and worship. If you think it's that, you are a delusional child.
Well, yeah, they tell you that.
Folks, I was clergy in this religion. If you don't want to listen to clergy, if you refuse to listen to former clergy in a religious institution that is essentially a part of the worldwide system that's running the world, that's your death. You take on that to your death. Okay, that's what you're doing.
Go get your
You're not
booster.
just shooting yourself in the foot. You're shooting yourself right in the temple, right in the head. Okay, that's how ignorant and stupid someone has to be. And if you don't want you are, it's too quick to make a snap quick judgment. You go listen to all of my work, and you make an understanding of my genuine nature and what I've been trying to expose for 19 years with very little success because of hard-headed ignorant people that don't want to give up their nonsense religious worldview. You want to stay an imbecile religionist? Stay an imbecile religionist. You're the one who got duped by the Satanists because they're the people who invented all the religions that are operating on this planet. This cult is not new. It's ancient. It's been operating on this planet for tens of thousands of years. And
The old religion.
They invented all your religions. They invented all your religions.
The old religion. That's why they call it that.
It's the oldest one on the planet, and they invented all the other ones just to help put people into deep mental bondage and slavery. That's it. So the first thing is, what is their mindset? And if you really actually open up your ears and you pay attention to what this mindset really is, you'll understand this is what they've given to other people. They've given this mindset to the whole godless world, and they've made people latch onto this mindset. Most people fervently believe in it and fervently operate according to it. And here's the first tenet of their mindset: pure egotism as the highest aspiration in a human being's
That's
life.
hard to believe, Mark.
Imagine that. Imagine being an egotistical ass and believing that's how people should be. Hey, it's a dog-eat-dog world. Got to get my leg up over my fellow man. Got to hold them down as much as possible. There's got to be winners and losers. I got to come out as the most ruthless one on top. I'll come out as the winner, and every other people, if they have to be put down, their rights put down, their freedom put down, end up being downtrodden, then so be it, because that's the pecking order. That's the ruthless pecking order. That's just how things are. And they've inculcated people completely into that mindset. If you can't look around in society and see that the very first tenet of Satanism, egotism, is basically everybody's God. The God of the satanic religion is the self. I know better than everybody else. I'm the one who basically sets what right and wrong are. And that's basically the second tenet we'll get to, but I'm up on a pedestal. Everybody's here under me. How much of society operates like that?
Well,
I don't give a damn about anybody else. All I care about is me and mine. How much of society operates?
Okay, so what you're describing, the way you just described that, the assholes like that are kind of refreshing compared to these people who have got in their head that their own selfishness is the highest moral good.
Yep.
Like, they don't go fuck everybody else. They go, no, this is just, like, they don't even think, that doesn't even come into somebody else comes in. They go, well, I am the thing, and I don't feel safe, and blah, 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 blah. And they don't even, like a gangster kind of would say it the way you're saying it.
That's what it is. This is a big mafia.
Yeah,
this cult is a worldwide, huge mafia that's putting other people as you're just the rank and file of the mafia. You have our same beliefs. You don't necessarily see what we do or do what we do, but we've given you our mindset. That's exactly what's going on.
Scott Adams, God rest his soul, the Dilbert cartoonist, we had a clip of him saying, I don't know what betrayal Trump had done yet, but he goes, look, if you believe that you got to have a CIA, they're going to lie to you. He actually did like a Dottie Sandusky bullshit thing of like, well, they have to lie to you. What am I, a jilted girlfriend? No, they don't. You don't get no secrets, assholes. That's my policy.
So the first thing I would ask people listening is, how much of the world is a completely egotistical mindset? What is the percentage of people? You wouldn't acknowledge that the majority of the human population exists in rabid egotism? If you don't think that, again, I think you belong in a padded room. I think you're so naive. You got your eyes so closed to how people's mindset operates that you don't even understand what's going on around you. if you don't think that the majority of the world has embraced egotism as basically its highest tenet ideologically. So when you take on that mindset, and this is the danger of all forms of Satanism and Levian Satanism in particular, and the people who say, "Oh yeah, I accept or embrace the ideology of Levian Satanism," that's the entirety of the danger and the slippery slope. Is if you think you're basically God and you're the highest aspect of creation, and you're putting yourself up on that pedestal, what won't you do? What won't you do that makes you a piece of dirt and a piece of trash? How won't you step on other people? How won't you violate people's rights? How won't you advocate that other people's rights get stepped on through government, through authority? So this idea of egotism being the highest aspiration in life is the first tenet. The second tenet of Satanism is moral relativism. See, you notice none of this is let's go sacrifice infants. That's not the tenets of Satanism. Now, let's not bow down and worship Satan and give, pledge all of our earthly possessions to Satan, our king. That these aren't the tenets of Satanism. Only idiots believe that. Religious morons who've been inculcated into Satanism believe that. Here's what they are. The ego is the highest aspiration. I'm essentially God. That's number one. Number two, moral relativism, which means there's no real right and wrong. There's no such thing as true right and true wrong, objectively, in nature. We get to make that up.
You ever hear this one?
The myth of child.
Yeah. You ever hear this?
Yeah.
The myth. Jake and Dinos Chapman, my girls' art podcast, they were part of that stupid Nick Land movement of accelerationism, and so their art projects start getting disturbing. Like, it's really upsetting if you watch the episode where she showed it to me and Tim Butterly the first time, also from Philly. And their art was to challenge the idea of childhood innocence. And I'm like, and this is in the 90s, by the way. And when you hear that, oh, your kids aren't so innocent, I'm like, no, they're innocent of committing vile acts of
until they're
kids.
They're taught bad behavior. It's all programming.
They want that out of there. They want that innocence the fuck out of you as soon as possible.
Influence and environment. This is known as epigenetics.
Yes.
All the people who talk about human nature as, oh, that's just the way you pop out of the womb. You're rabidly ignorant. You're so appallingly ignorant that it's painful. It's painful to the knowledgeable. You've never looked into epigenetics. It's so obvious and clear. Your ignorance is just beaming off of you. Okay, and I gotta say it that way. It's got to be said that way to people because they really believe they're informed, and they're painfully uneducated. Not just a little bit uneducated. They're horrendously uneducated.
I mean, I just got in a fight with a friend yesterday arguing about this shit, and the things he was saying were so fucking dumb. And I'm like, why are you focusing on the complete wrong part of any of this, and not the part
because they have religious attachments to their wrongness. It's not just that people get the wrong idea. They get the wrong idea, and then because of how they've been inculcated ideologically through Satanism, they get latched onto the wrong idea. See, I was latched onto all these wrong ideas. That's the thing. I thought just like the imbeciles of the world. I thought the exact same thoughts. Oh, we have to vote the other guy in. There's got to be government. We can't actually have rulership over our own minds. We need all of these systems of thought in place to direct the herd in their mind. And we need. It's just all morally relative. We can make up what's right for us and what's wrong for us.
Well, there's no God, so that means I have to be
right.
Yeah,
I was wrong about everything. I myself had to sit down with myself and do the shadow work of the deep internal recognition that I became a piece of human vermin.
What made you do that?
I became a piece of seeing that these people ran the world.
Oh yeah, that's
Like,
just not a particular incident. Okay.
Kurt, if I never saw the inside of it, man, I'd
Yeah.
probably still want to. I'd probably be still one of these pieces
Yeah.
of trash.
Isn't it
I would
amazing?
still be one of these parasites. Okay?
It's amazing to me that you
I
could
had
see
to
it. Yeah.
see viscerally for
Right.
myself at their own rituals, in person, among them. These people are saying they want to put everybody under their thumb. They want to become God, and they want to enslave everybody else. And that included essentially the rank and file of their own organizations. That included my family, everybody I cared
Yeah.
about, and just about everybody else on earth. And it took me to see that was their real intent in life, to say, whoa, I can't go that far. I have to back up from this. I need to just do a 180-degree reversal, and I do need to get out that door. And that's what I did. But what happened subsequently was I went into such a deep depression that I had ever bought into this mindset and become involved with these people that I tell people the story. I laid in bed for the better part of 2 years, and I did nothing but literally go into a totally dejected, almost completely black-pilled mindset where I sat and played doom metal on repeat all day. Like, I played the most drudging, sorrowful, mournful doom metal that I could find, over and over and over and over on my stereo at home, laying in bed all day, feeling sorry for myself about what I had just become involved with and beating myself up mercilessly over it. It was the long, dark night of the soul that I had to go through. And then when I finally started to come up out of that mindset and saying, hey, no, I'm worth more than this. I have to get my head together. I have to tell people about what I saw regarding this. I have to do exactly what I was challenged to do. They said, go and do your worst and try to tell people what you think you know. And I had to say to myself, you know what? You made that challenge to me. You just challenged the wrong person, because that's exactly what I'm going to do. And I'm going to do it to the best of my ability. And that's what I started formulating to try to make an effort to do that. And that became what on earth is happening. But going back to their mindset, the first thing that, and just let me tell you what finally got me up out of my dejected and depressed mindset was I started really studying more about the occult. You would think, oh, you would go into something opposite of it or different. No, I went into what real occultism is, that these people are perverting. They're learning the knowledge of the true light bodies of knowledge of the occult, the positive elements of this knowledge base, this knowledge set, and they are twisting and distorting it, because these people cannot create anything. They have no true creativity in their mindset and in their essence of their being. All they can do is twist and distort. They can't actually create. So they distort the true teachings of the occult, and they turned it into the dark occult. They turned it into Satanism, and this is what they've inculcated people into: pure egotism as the highest of life's goals. Okay, and then moral relativism. There's no objective standard of morality, of true right behavior, and what wrong behavior constitutes. Okay, that's what religion is there to teach people. Religion is to teach people a morally relativistic form of morality, because every religion has things that are different, that it says this is a right and this is a wrong. This is why governmental jurisdictions everywhere in the country and in the world, there's different jurisdictions. This is a right in this jurisdiction, but here it's punishable by law. Over here, this is okay, and here it's frowned upon, and you can be jailed for doing it. That's all moral relativism. Just like religions are morally relative. Government is all moral relativism. That's how you know what system it's a part of. If it's morally relative, it's not a part of God's system. It's part of Satanic system on earth. And I don't say it, you could say it's Satan's system, but just understand that's not a deity, a God, an entity. It's a symbolic embodiment of a force. It's a symbolic embodiment of the archetype of the adversarial force against God's order and against God's laws, which are real and are embedded into the fabric of nature.
Right.
And the occult does not want us to know those things. The dark occult wants those forces and those laws hidden from us so that we operate in our mind and in our behaviors ignorantly and blindly. And we never really learn what real right and wrong are. And that's really what the whole problem on this planet is. It's that the people of the earth do not know the true difference between right behavior and wrong behavior because of the mindset they've been inculcated to religiously believe and stay attached to, and therefore they have become moral relativists. Every religionist is a moral relativist. Almost all atheists are moral relativists, not all, but most.
Right.
Everybody who believes in human authority is a moral relativist. Everybody who believes in government and politics is a moral relativist. You believe that right and wrong can change at the whim of a religious belief, at the whim of a legislator, at the whim of a political party, at the whim of time, place, circumstance, and whim. Okay, it's just a mental construct, and it could change at any time or place.
Well, you see the scam with it. They get you to feel that way. So the Epstein drop. First, I get there's no God. There ain't nothing but what you see here physically, and only an idiot would think otherwise. We've gotten past thinking there's any such thing as a creator. Oh, they eat kids. Well, I don't believe in nothing. What am I supposed to do? Care about they eat kids?
If you're a solipsist or a nihilist, you're going to say, well, that's just an experience that some people are having here. Great, that's not me.
You know what they say? They go, okay, that's great what you just said, dude. I'm so sick of this shit where because I don't believe in the political order and I think it's actively, radically, intelligently evil, oh, you're black-pilled. No, I never had faith that the goddamn government was some kind of force of good, morons.
I get accused of this all the time. I am not black-pilled.
I don't even say that pill shit.
Disillusioned with the complete rabid ignorance of most of the morons that comprise
because you're not a nihilist.
We call humanity. I'm a realist. Right. I try to look at where people's mindset and consciousness and where their intelligence level truly is about what's really going on in human life on this planet at this time. And I got to tell you, Kurt, I'm always disappointed and disillusioned.
Yeah.
People are intent on staying attached to being wrong, and then they'll call me black-pilled. You think I'm happy about being as right as I've been? And let me tell you this, folks, and I don't care who says this is egotistical. I've been right about every single thing that I've been saying about Satanism for the last 20 years of my life. And you know how I've been right? I was a priest in their damn religion. You think a clergy member who's become a priest, who's been elevated to the priest class of a religion operating in this world, knows a thing or two about the religion and what its mindset and ideology actually contain versus what some religious idiots told you it contains? You want to go believe your pastor or your imbecile rabbi? Go believe them. And once again, it's your detriment to your death because more and more chaos is happening all around you. And it's going to visit you, your family, and your children if you completely continue to ignore this just because of your pre-existing imbecilic religious garbage belief system that you want to stay latched onto like a maggot eating a corpse.
Well, it's like a death metal song. I would say the religious ones are even, some of my friends that are religious, I find them more interesting to talk to because as bizarre it is to be an adult convert to Catholicism, which makes zero sense to me, it is a couple of the smarter of my friends that are into that, and it's easier to talk to them than people that they're not even attached to that. They're attached to like shit that's so dumb, where it's like they want to argue about if Bad Bunny or Kid Rock was, you know what I mean? Like that's not even to the level
what people think is important. It's unreal. It's unreal that they can't really get their mind out of the trash and mud because they've been so conditioned to just be like that. They've been conditioned their whole lives through the educational system, through religion, through garbage parenting, to just miss the bullseye, to miss the target. They've been trained
virtuously
to miss the target and to be proud. To not just miss it, but to be proud that they've missed it.
And what do you do? Your own research, Mark? All right, wait. So what's the next commandments? We got up to 3.
So yeah, that's 2. The third one. So if you're egotistical and you're morally relativistic, you don't really believe there's any objective right or wrong.
Yeah, I'm a sociopath. Go on.
Then what you're going to start championing is social Darwinism, and that's the third tenet. Social Darwinism is the idea. Well, certain people, their genes get them up to the level of, well, they're the rulers of this institution or that institution, and they've done what's required to be as ruthless as they can, and that got them into that position. And well, people like that should just be the rulers, and they should be the top of
naturally they go to the top.
It's
inbred idiots should be at the top.
Like animals, right? Whenever people champion this nonsense that comes out of nonsensical Darwinian belief systems, they always reference the animal kingdom and go, well, the most ruthless lions and tigers end up ruling their pride.
That is not true.
And secondly, that's not what a human being should aspire to. Why would we want to aspire to be like a vicious, ruthless animal? That shows you what you think of yourself. See, the people who think a person can't change and change their mindset and go from being a true piece of trash to a truly good person, you think that's not possible. All you're saying that about yourself, all you're saying that about is yourself. That means that you believe you're a piece of trash and you really can't change your spots. Once again, don't ascribe that to me. I went from being a truly bad person to understanding what real good is and becoming a truly good person and blowing the whistle on all of this evil for the last 20 years. And what the hell has someone else done who's trying to say, oh, no, it doesn't work like this? They've done zero because they have zero inside knowledge, they have zero personal life experience, and then they want to talk trash on the person who actually does have the real world experience.
Well, preaching to the choir over here, buddy. But I'll tell you what, I'm not kidding. I've known people who had that feeling of like, oh, you can't, like, person can't change, and they literally have a job rehabbing pit bulls.
Yeah. They're showing the principle of programmability in action in their own lives, and then somehow that just doesn't apply to humans. Okay,
I've watched people do this where I tell them a thing, and this idea. Michael Parente is dead now, but he has a great quote about how people can see, oh, the farmers are getting together, or the unions getting together, or there's gangs getting together, but at the top, it just suddenly becomes forces of nature. There's nobody there. And there's nobody running the whole thing. There's nobody, and I'm like, what is your definition of running the whole thing? What are you talking about? Every aspect of your life is in fact the wars we're going to. I just want to point out to fight for freedom, and this I think is sad. Okay, I do USO shows. I'll do any USO show. My comedy's not like you're a baby killer or something. Like, I feel bad for people that got tricked into this shit, but we have less freedom since all these wars of freedom. Did anybody notice that? How do you fight for freedom?
It's unbelievable how under satanic mind control these people are, that they actually just believe the nonsense that they believe. It's a testimony to how strong the religion I came out of, the cult that I left, actually is.
The universal.
Firmly has root in people's mind. And I mean, people are they'll stay loyal to that mindset to their own death, to their own detriment and death.
Right. Well,
that's what a cult is. That's the definition of a cult.
You said it before, the dialectic, and I've seen this pattern repeat over and over again. I'm sure you have too. You got your Aleister Crowley's of Plymouth Brethren first, and then he goes the exact opposite way, the way you described you, going from Catholic and then going the exact opposite way. So that's why they got to control the churches and the Church of Satan, because
they love They love the polarization dialectics, as I call it. They love people swinging from one extreme to the other and never finding the balance point that leads to the truth.
That's right. Still blame the commies. It's just the commies do that. Nobody else does that. Just the commies.
Yeah. hey, if I don't subscribe to the radical left-wing garbage of the polarized left, then I must be a rabid MAGA Trump supporter. Like,
Yeah, there's
no,
only two
I'm
options.
not in any of those cults. I've transcended all of those cults mentally and spiritually.
It's not
And
superhuman to do that. Everyone should be able to do that.
Of
It's not
course.
like I'm dumb, dude. I'm not that smart. I literally, my whole philosophy is you can't just keep tricking me with the same trick for that long. You either trick me a lot, demonstrably so, because I didn't even know there was a building 7 in the Twin Towers until like 2 years ago, and I was there
Right.
when the shit happened in New York. And didn't
It's one of
know.
the things that started really waking me up to the whole wider system was 9/11. I came onto the truth about it early in 2002.
I did not.
But it even fooled me for a couple of
Mhm.
months. It took me a couple of months to get my head together on that one. But, by early 2002, my mindset was straightened out, and it really woke me up to a much higher level about what was really going on geopolitically. So going back to the tenets,
Yeah,
the third one is social Darwinism.
okay.
Okay. And then the last one is eugenics. The belief that, well, then this priest class that really runs things, the ruthless class, the class of people who you could say is the ruling class, however you want to word it, well, they should really direct society and decide who's going to propagate their genes and who's not.
Wait, what
In
the
other
other
words,
one?
who lives and who dies.
What's the one about don't be stupid, but you
So
have to make
those are the satanic sins that they
Oh.
teach each other in Satanism.
Okay.
So these are reserved for Satanists, right? So Satanists have their own set of sins. They have their own tenets or beliefs.
Sins, yes.
Yeah, so the tenets are what I laid out. The 4 tenets of Satanism are what I have amalgamated.
So our government is that. As
And
you've
again,
demonstrated.
that's the satanic system operating on Earth. So the mindset that rules the system is what I just laid out, the tenets, okay? Egotism, moral relativism, social Darwinism, and eugenics, or what I call dysgenics, because it's not truly eugenics,
Right.
it's actually dumbing the gene pool down, okay? So I'd say satanic egotism, moral relativism, social Darwinism, and dysgenics. That's the satanic, those are the satanic pillars or tenets mentally, ideologically. Now they have rules for themselves that they tell each other, don't do these things. That makes you a bad Satanist. So you are not going to embody the tenets or agenda of Satanism, the worldwide agenda and network of Satanism and dark occultism. You will not be a good embodiment or director of those things if you embody and do these things. And here's what they are. And I'm bringing this up right from the Church of Satan's own website. Okay, so I'm reading this off of their own website in real time. Okay, the first of the 9 satanic sins is stupidity. So don't embody stupidity. And what you have to understand every time you hear this in their quote sins of Satanism is this is what the Satanist should not do, but the Satanist should propagate this for all others to do, because we want to get these people locked into doing these things so we can more easily rule over them. We could turn them into our slave class and rule them. So this is what they want for the population. Hear what's being said. Really open up your ears and listen to what is said. The satanic sins are the things that the Satanists, the ruling and administrative class on earth, should not do, but that they should try to inculcate all other people who are going to become their slave class to do and be. Okay, so get the idea clear. And then the first thing is stupidity. So that means the rulers of people, the ruling class, should not be stupid. They should be as well educated as possible, holistically educated. But they should get the public. They should get the morons of the world. They should get all of the unwashed masses to be as dumbed down and as stupid as possible. And just look around. Just look around us. If that's not what you see everywhere, once again, there's something wrong with your perceptive abilities. There's almost all imbecilic, moronic, stupid people everywhere. It says on their website, it's too bad that stupidity isn't painful, meaning painful for the stupid. Unfortunately, it's painful for the actually educated. That's
right.
who it's painful for.
I have chosen to embody stupidity and come in from the other angle.
So the other sins, I'll just run through them, is pretentiousness. That means pretending to be something that you're not. And you see that all over the place.
Yeah, right.
And quite frankly, you know what I have to say is a big embodiment of pretentiousness? The alternative media community.
Yeah.
They are basically putting on a mask and pretending to be something that they're really not. And they don't want to be truly genuine and real. They don't want to be that hardcore, real individual. They don't want to give people the straight crap. They don't want to take off the mask. They don't want to take off the niceties. You know, telling the truth doesn't have to involve being super nice. Because in all honesty, I took off the velvet glove and put on the iron gauntlet a long time ago, and I've just been beating up on people, quite frankly. Because if you've been saying this for 20 years straight, and people still don't want to believe what you are actually involved in, and don't want to believe you understand these people's mindset, you understand their whole ideology, you understand what they're doing to the rest of society, and you see it playing out practically in slow motion like a horror movie.
Yeah.
And you've been yelling this from the rooftops.
Yeah, right.
And now they're coming out, basically externalizing themselves as the satanic, pedophilic cannibals that they actually are. And then people still don't want to interview you and garner your knowledge and your wisdom from lived experience. You'd be a little bit on the perturbed.
You have active
side
people against
too.
you, dude. Just so you know. I mean, look. The bottom line is...
I know what dumb pieces of trash the people of this world are. They're dumb trash.
Well, what I mean is, besides just that, one thing I could not have fathomed before I was working on Jimmy's show, and like the weirdness of like his shit getting hacked by Pegasus, and you're like, why? And then when it came out, and Matt Taibbi turned out to be bullshit too, but when he was in those Twitter files, they were going after smaller accounts. They weren't going after the big ones. And what people don't expect, and nobody believes me. Well, I mean, no, people believe me that know shit, but in comedy, for example, so I'm in Austin, Rogan's Club is here. Talk about painfully stupid. You know, there's a whole group of people that seem to believe that Rogan got Trump elected single-handedly by letting him talk on his show, which their candidate, who was part of the same thing, could have gone on herself.
I go into the idea that a lot of the alternative media could very much and very well be controlled opposition.
Well, not just that.
By who they
I'm
want
saying, wait. I'm not saying, okay. Of course that. But what I didn't know is, so, and it came out because I'm in the Epstein files, not because I did nothing, but he got invited to a show that I was on that was being taped on his birthday. Never got a chance to hang out. A friend of mine, I mean, we're close, but I always liked him, is in those files, and it ain't good. A lot of pizza emails about him.
Yes.
So that's creepy as hell. But there's people from Intel and all these, especially because MK Ultra and Monarch are real things. They know that the propaganda and the media, of course, they're going to have their own alternative, and they're going to have people that they send to like comedy clubs.
Yeah, they want people to massage this. You know, they want them to put a spin on it to almost make it socially acceptable, to make it just be acknowledged as, oh yeah, that's what they do, and that they'll just get away with it and never be brought to justice.
You can spot them now, and now I'm starting to see. The thing is funny is certain people, as soon as you tell certain lies to me, I know I kind of know what's up, even if I don't know all the specifics. But now I'm starting to find out shit about, you find out about people you always liked that were saying the right thing, and meaning
and
they're not liars.
Be held down for it. Yes, absolutely.
And then all of a sudden you'll see, without being specific about any person, but you'll see them suddenly say something that makes no sense after they just told you all this shit that people I've learned stuff from, and I'm like, with this,
that's
there's other motive here.
A big curveball at you, and change their whole mindset. Yep.
And I don't. This is the thing. I don't
bait and switch. Yeah,
absolutely. I'm only looking at the fruits of your works, or the works of your fruits in showbiz, I guess you could say, and that's it. And I don't. Hey, everybody's nice. I like everybody. I don't care about high school shit or who your dad was, or when we cover the TPUSA bizarre Luciferian thing that they do. what do you believe, Candace? No, what does that
People
mean?
have to get into philosophy. They have to understand mindsets, ideologies that are operating. That's how you're going to understand what's underneath what drives their behavior. When you understand these people's mindset, all their behavior suddenly makes sense. It
Right.
doesn't look like chaos anymore. It looks like, wow, this is their mindset in operation. This is their agenda that's reflective of their mindset. That's why the alternative media community has to stop just trying to analyze events, everyday events. Everyday events are going to be the same thing until the end of time. If you don't understand mindset and you don't understand the why that underlies behavior, you don't understand anything. So
Yeah, right.
I want to wrap up the sins and get into what are the systems that are operating.
Yeah, right.
Because again, that's where people have to make a personal choice. Are they going to be on God's side or are they going to be on the satanic side? So the third satanic sin behind stupidity and pretentiousness is solipsism.
Right.
Solipsism is the belief that there's no such thing as truth.
Right.
Everything is just relative, and your perception is the only thing you can
That's
be
very
sure of.
interesting, that one in particular to me, because
they're telling their members, don't be a solipsist. So try to really understand what they're saying by this list. This list is saying we, as Satanists, as the rulers of the world, should never buy into these things, but we should always propagate these things to our slaves. The slave class should buy into all of this crap. The rulers should always steer clear of this crap. Okay? That's what has to be understood. So the Satanists here are saying solipsism is garbage. We should propagate that to the garbage we're ruling over and give them this garbage mindset. But as a Satanist, you should never buy into this. So solipsism is number 3. Number 4 is self-deceit. Think about it again. We shouldn't deceive ourselves, but we should deceive everybody else and get them to deceive themselves in their ignorance and in their garbage mindset. Okay? And look around. How many people are self-deceitful? How many people aren't even on their own side? They just do things that are completely the opposite of their own interests.
Not even on their own side.
Not even on their own side. They're playing for the opposite team. They've been given the playbook of the opposite team, and they slap it out of somebody's hand and say, screw you, I don't want to look at that. I don't care who you are or where you came from, and I'm going to basically do what's outside of my team's interest and my own interest, and I'm going to help the other team kick our ass. And that's what most people are because of their own self-deceit.
Yeah, they have no idea what the teams are. They just know belonging to the herd ultimately is the most important tool of survival.
And that's next. Yeah. That's the next satanic sin. Herd conformity. Imagine that. Right? Herd conformity. And how many people are just members of the cattle, of the goyim? How many people are just cattle that are under a form of chattel slavery that just can't be seen readily?
Right.
Because it's called government. Because it's called authority.
Also, there's a 13th Amendment that makes slavery legal. Nobody's aware of that. Slavery is legal here still.
How many people are just rabid conformists? They're just like part of a program that's running. This illustrates the principle of programmability as human nature. How many people are just rabid herd conformists? They just take the programming from their culture and then they just run with it. And they never challenge how they think, who they believe they are, their view of themselves, their whole mental worldview is never even challenged.
Don't ruin Indiana Jones for me, dude. That's my childhood.
Number 6 is a lack of perspective. And again, I'm not going to get deep into each one, but most people have no perspective in life. 7 is the forgetfulness of past orthodoxies, which just means you haven't learned from history. And the organizations and people who have really shaped history and the mindsets that have shaped history, and you haven't learned from any of that. You're just stuck in the moment, believing that everything is just as it is, as you perceive it, and there's nothing that shaped that from behind the scenes.
Wait, I thought I was supposed to just be in the moment all the time and not,
like an animal,
like a fucking animal.
Like this is what Satanism also teaches, that human beings are just animals like any other animal, and no, that isn't true. Human beings are a higher class of animals because of the ability of our neocortex to actually learn and comprehend and grow mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and to really understand the systems that are operating all around us. And animals cannot really do that. They don't have the complexity in mind, in brain, in thought process that allows for that, whereas human beings do. We are not just animals. We are a higher order of consciousness than just other animals. And if you don't believe that, number one, you're not very understanding of biology and real science. And number two, you're also completely out of the loop when it comes to epigenetics and what truly shapes the forces of the mind. Number 8 is counterproductive pride. And this is what people who don't want to acknowledge that they have been wrong in the past and latched onto bad belief systems. They have pride that keeps them operating against their own interests. See, if I was one of those morons, I would still be laying in bed feeling sorry for myself that I got involved in Satanism and just still staying attached to the same belief systems and mental processes that put me there.
Right.
And I wouldn't have changed and learned and really grew. I would never have grown from the knowledge that I garnered. I
Sounds
just
like a
would have
breakup.
stayed right there.
It sounds like a bad breakup or something. Like the thing we just depressed for a while because like, how could I have fallen in love with this awful thing?
Absolutely. Very interesting way of putting it, but yes. But most people stay in that counterproductive pride because the ego is operating so strongly. This is the first tenet of Satanism, that they can't say I was wrong.
Right.
The ego isn't I'm Mr. Macho Man and I could do no wrong. The ego is I can't acknowledge that I was wrong about what I previously believed or how I previously acted, and I can't say I'm sorry. The ego latches us firmly into a belief system and won't allow us to come out of it and acknowledge that we had been previously wrong, and then repent and make amends for being that wrong in our mind and in our behavior. This is why the mark of the beast biblically is carried in the head and in the hand, because it's our thoughts and our deeds that we are attached to and we can't say I was wrong about. And that's what gives us the beast mentation, the satanic mindset. And the last one is lack of aesthetics. And this means you just don't understand the difference between what truly is good versus what truly is bad or wrong, especially for you, especially when it comes to how things should be operating or working. It's not just about just the look of things. It goes deeper than that. But again, I've broken those down sufficiently to help people understand this is what the Satanist says to their own ranks. Never do these things. Never believe in these things. This is all trash. This is what defines a trash bag mindset.
Yeah, right.
This is what defines a mind full of garbage. And then you look at the whole population and you realize this is everything the whole population buys into and thinks.
Yes.
Because they've been inculcated into being a slave of Satanism.
Well, just think of the stupidity of, I always find this to be like tragic too, but so remember whatever Super Bowl where they had that poor Dave Blunt's obese kid that looked like he got mutilated at the Willy Wonka chocolate factory, that fat guy, and they had what's his name at the Diamond Crown of Thorns, Kendrick Lamar, who's the good rapper, not like Drake. He won that battle against Drake, and he's got this platinum diamond and I give him 10 years before he has metal teeth and he's singing Heil Hitler songs, because Kanye did the same thing. And why would you ever wear a platinum crown of thorns with diamonds on it? Oh, not like that what loser one Jesus had. What on earth are you sending out there?
Occult mockery. They do this all the time. They do this against their own police forces and military forces. They love roping people in, and they can't see the symbolism. They certainly don't understand and can't see the mentation. And they love ritualistically mocking people. I did an entire presentation on this called Occult Mockery of Police and Military Personnel, where I broke down all the symbolism of how they ritualistically
the dog tags. Yes, I love that.
Their own forces. They mock their own defense forces who are really defending the satanic system. They mock the people doing that because they're like, look at how dumb you are. You do this to your own kind. You enslave not only your own kind, but yourselves.
Right.
And they're just laughing at these people hilariously.
Well, I used to say
it's a big ritualistic mockery.
Yeah, well, I mean, I used to say that, I was watching something about pigs where they're smarter than dogs, and So the dog, they'll train him to knock the golf ball into the hole with his nose for a treat. So the dog enjoys that activity and he gets a treat. But a pig is so much smarter than a dog. They can't even understand the stupid concept of doing that game. The pig picks up the ball in its mouth and drops it in the hole because it just wants the treat. It doesn't care about that game. So that's I started seeing people like that as dogs. Like I'm a dumb dog in a certain way because a lot of people are. You like the game. And the pigs in charge of it are like, this is just means to an end. Yeah.
People are well trained and well programmed, and they don't like the discomfort that comes along with rejecting the programming that they have been given for their entire lives. Because that truly means not only do you have to think for yourself, you have to be personally responsible for everything you think and every action that you undertake or condone for other people to take. And here's what it boils down to. It boils down to there are two systems operating on earth. And this is biblically what is talked about as there's Mammon's system and there's God's system.
Mm-hmm.
And you can't obey two masters.
Right.
You can't align yourself with both systems. You either align yourself with one system or you align yourself with the other system. You have to make a dialect. This is the real dialectic, right? This is where there really is two sides and you got to make a choice between them because this is what's operating in nature. It's operating in our presence in nature. And there's really one system and the other system is satanic illusion. It really
That's what the Matrix is.
Structural idea. Correct. That's what the real control system operating.
You don't need a computer for it.
Is. Right. So here's the two systems.
Okay.
God's system wants to evolve our consciousness on and on and on and on. It wants to take us from undifferentiated matter and complete low vibratory consciousness to bring us up to higher and higher and higher and higher levels of awareness and knowledge, to the point where we literally go to the stars and to the greater mysteries of creation. And we become an advanced species such which we could barely even recognize what that would look like or mean in our present state of consciousness. And this is what the Creator wants for us. It wants all of the best things. It wants further development. It wants more learning, more knowledge, more growth, more advancement.
Hold on 1 second. My light is doing this crazy thing, and I think it's
absolutely.
Taking away. Hold on.
Yep.
Okay.
Now I know how that could get distracting.
It kept flashing on and off as you're talking about.
You don't want
I'm hypnotizing them.
Yeah, you don't want distraction like that while you're trying to flesh out ideas.
Mess up your thing.
Yeah.
What's the second thing you said?
So the first system on earth is God's system, and it's God's laws. These systems have a form of law. Everything in the creation of the Creator is governed by law. That's every piece of matter is governed by law, and every form of thought and behavior is also governed by law. Those are the more unseen laws. The physical laws that govern matter are the seen laws of creation. The unseen laws of creation, or the more occult laws, the ones that are more difficult to see. And again, the word occult comes from the Latin occultare, which means to hide, to conceal, or to keep secret. And that verb, occultare, in turn comes from the Latin noun oculus, which means eye. That's why the eye is used as a symbol for the occult in some of its societies. And it is related to vision. That's what occultism is. It's knowledge that is related to, are you able to see it, or is it relatively unseen in our presence and operates in the unseen spiritual realm? Okay, so the natural laws of the Creator are the behavioral laws that govern the consequence for the behaviors that we put out through our thoughts, emotions, and actions. And the universe acts as a reflective mirror for our output of behavior. So we get consequence for the behaviors that we choose in life, and we choose those behaviors based on our knowledge and understanding. That's the process. We learn through information, and then we behave based on the input and the processing and understanding of said knowledge, or we remain ignorant of that knowledge and we don't learn it, and then our behavior is very bad on the other side. So here's what the specifics of natural laws, objective moral knowledge is. When you have this knowledge, you truly have conscience. Conscience also comes from the Latin words con, the prefix con meaning together or with, and the verb scio, sciere in its infinitive form, which means to know or to understand. When you put them together, conscience, to know, sciere, where the word science comes from, science, to know, to understand, and con, all together. Together or together with. It literally means to know together, to understand together, to have common sense, to all know together. That's conscience, because what we should all know together is the objective difference between right behaviors and wrong behaviors. That's God's system of law. That's natural law. This isn't Darwinism. This isn't the pecking order. This isn't survival of the fittest. This has nothing to do with animal behavior. Okay, when I say natural, that comes from the Egyptian word netter, and it's actually not pronounced like that. If you transliterate it, it would be NTR in English transliteration. But if you actually pronounce the word in Egyptian, it's netcher, netcher, which is very close to nature. And the word actually means God, right? So netcher al, the suffix al from Sanskrit actually means related to or having to do with or directly involved with. So natural literally means related to God.
So saying supernatural is a stupid thing.
There's no such thing. In the natural world, it's all related to the creator and its laws. The force of creation, the force of evolution, and the advancement and development of consciousness. So the natural law is God's law. It's the law related to the creator of the universe, which is behavioral and spiritual law. And here's how it operates. You learn what rights are, and you learn what is the antithesis of rights. What are the transgressions against rights? What are the things we should not do because they violate rights? Rights are actions which do not violate the rights and initiate harm against other sentient beings. They don't violate the rights of other sentient beings. They don't initiate harm or defrauding or loss to other sentient beings. And consent, right. So those are reserved as rights. 7 behaviors do violate natural rights and do initiate harm to other sentient beings. Murder, assault, rape, theft, trespass, coercion, and deception. I'll say them one more time. The 7 true deadly sins against God's real laws, natural laws, the natural laws of all creation are as follows. These are the real 7 deadly sins: murder, assault, rape, theft, trespass, coercion, deception. These are all the things authority does and says that they're exempt from. This is all the things this cult does in the world. And they all these things stem from believing that you have ownership over another being that you do not. And the phrase ownership over another being is slavery. And all the word authority is a euphemism for slavery. It's a euphemism for owning another being.
Wait, isn't Baal? Doesn't that mean owner? Because they say Lord, but I think it means master or owner.
Correct.
Does it not?
Correct. So it's the same thing. Saying Lord means the authority over. So a lord over a subject means you're the authority. Your word is law. And that's a form of their God, right? Again, I don't really accept the notion that they have like worship toward an actual entity. When I was involved in Satanism, these were very readily seen, recognized, and adopted as archetypal symbols.
So I have a question for you. Yeah. So famously when Aquino didn't like that it was atheist and he broke off because he had a spiritual experience with Set.
Yes.
Would that mean that
is different?
Yeah. And you may not know or anything, but is he just starting his own scam, or did he kind of believe his
No,
own
I believe
Kool-Aid?
he's very genuine in that he believes those things, that
Yeah.
he may have had an experience. Look, I don't dismiss that there may be entities, demons, non-corporeal beings, other dimensional beings, other beings in this 3D realm that just don't originate from Earth. I'm open-minded to accepting all of those things.
Right.
What I'm saying is we can set all of that at the door, because that really, you could say, hey, long term, that may have to do with their mindset.
Right.
But what they're doing on Earth right now, we could defeat them, and it has
Yes.
nothing to do with what they believe as far as what entities are out there, or even if there are entities
that's a
out
great
there.
point. That's a great
We
point.
defeat them the same way by saying no to their satanic system.
Do you know what I say to people? They go, because I can't do anything. I'm like, listen, you don't got to go kill nobody. Here's what you do. Just stop consenting to every goddamn thing like a cow, because they need that. One thing, the reason I believe, it's funny, I wouldn't believe as much in the natural laws of the creator of the universe as much as I do, except I know these assholes believe in it, and then they try to trick me based on thinking it's true.
They believe, they know that it exists, and they hate it so much that they take the mindset of, I would rather rule in hell, in a prison of our own making and design, rather than serve the laws of the creator. That's how much their mindset is distorted and screwed up and completely satanic and destructive, chaotic and disordered and destructive.
Yeah, big
and they want
plasma
everybody
ball.
else to take that mindset.
A plasma ball of inverted souls, somebody told me one time.
The 7 deadly sins of the church are all, internal emotional mindsets, or just things that we do to ourselves, vices. The idea that the 7 deadly sins are pride, gluttony, sloth, lust, anger, jealousy, and greed. And then you'll have Christians go nuts on you because
that's Catholic bullshit.
Yeah,
First
you're
of all,
not doing those behaviors.
There's
to
there's
others.
no. First of all, just as a guy who has studied the Bible, there's no such thing as the 7 deadly sins. There's some Catholic drivel. There's sin and not sin. To this day, I'm not entirely clear on exactly what they meant by sin, but I do notice a definite theme of the crappy shit you do warps reality itself, and that's why it's important to work on yourself so that you can stop warping reality, because that's what people do.
A sin or a transgression against another being, or the rights and property of another being, must be a positive action taken against that being.
Right.
So somebody actually said, oh no, those really are sins. And it's like, well, take lust for an example. You've never looked at another person, like an attractive woman with a lustful mindset.
The action has to
attitude,
happen.
and it's like, well, did you rape them? Like, if you're so stupid to believe that like lust is equivalent to rape, once again, you belong in a padded room.
Well, because someone's teaching them.
Rape is different than the feeling of lust.
They're
you
warping.
Can feel lust all day and never rape somebody.
But that's okay. So again, Catholicism has probably created more Satanists than any credit to Catholicism.
I agree. That's one of the things that drove me headlong into the arms of a satanic ideology.
So Christopher Hitchens, and so some stuff he was right about, some stuff it was really profoundly stupid.
Right.
And the one thing about like where Christ goes, you've already committed adultery in your heart, so you might as well go do it. That's got to be one of the most warped things. Right. He's talking to a guy who's like planning to do it. See, if and I'm not saying the story even happened. Okay, I'm just saying the point of the story is if you say, hey, I'm lusting after this woman, I go, well, you already did it in your heart, you might as well do it. That's a message. That's a message to you to go, oh, you're right. I should stop focusing on this thing and whatever, or go do it. Shit or get off the pot is what he's saying.
Because you're somewhat imperfect thought-wise, then you might as well just go really become a satanic trash bag.
But that scripture is not meant
real
to
black pilling.
Yeah, that is not the point of that scripture. Was to black pill someone like that?
Right.
And they pointed out there. Who would follow somebody that puts that out there like that? Well, I guess people do.
This shows you the complete ignorance, stupidity, and unidimensional thinking of all religionists. Yeah. They're just children. That's all. And all religion is here to do, folks. And I don't care whether you believe or accept this or not, it's still objectively true. The religions of this world are here to make you adopt a morally relativistic mindset and confuse you about what real morality is. Real morality is don't do these 7 things: murder, assault, rape, theft, trespass, coercion, and deception. They're the real transgressions against natural law. They're the 7 things that if you do, you're aligning yourself with the satanic system. And God's system is natural law, true objective morality. Don't do those 7 things. Other things are reserved as your natural rights. That's it. A right is a behavior that doesn't initiate harm. Here's the forms of the initiation of harm, the transgressions against other beings and their rights and property.
That's,
Okay?
by the way, and again, I know somebody will take it as being attacked with religion. I'm not talking about whatever the initial belief system you believe in. Those are supposed to be principles. And that's why an authority system. So here's the thing, like, I agree with this sounds morally relativistic of me, but in life experience, things you did that were wrong. Hopefully you looked at it like how you described. So how you described the word conscience. I know from experience that's not right. Okay.
And you don't want to be treated like that. You don't want your rights violated.
That's what
you don't want your property aggressed upon. You don't want your health and life aggressed upon.
That's what actual Christianity was. That's why the 10 Commandments bullshit, which is some Zio fucking op here from Chabad or whatever. Christ said, you don't have to do 10 Commandments. Love your neighbor as yourself. So there you go. And God above all else.
Right.
And and he condemned tradition, invalidating the law of God with your bullshit tradition.
The golden rule is actually be loyal to God's system instead of the satanic system on earth. Be in the world, but not of it.
I might have to trespass. I'm joking.
Actually honor God's laws. The real laws of the Creator are what the religions have been attempting to garner and teach, but they woefully fall short of it because they've accepted moral relativism. They've accepted we have to rule this system, and therefore we're going to say these things that we don't like or think that are somehow abhorrent, we're going to say those are sins. No, they're not. The sins are murder, assault, rape, theft, trespass, coercion, and deception, and they're all forms of one transgression or one sin. And here's where the 10 Commandments got it right. They got it right with one commandment. There's only one law of the Creator of the universe, ladies and gentlemen. Don't steal. Theft incorporates every other natural law, transgression, or sin.
Right.
Murder is the theft of life without right. Assault is the theft of bodily well-being without right. Rape is the theft of free will sexual association without right.
Right.
Theft.
But God said the king has the right.
Personal property. Right. And we're going to get to that. What is the idea of authority? What is the idea of kingship?
Wait, I got to read these chats real quick, Mark. Sorry. This is great. I'm glad you came on, man, because I get real into these things. Okay. USA Patriot Crickets. Kurp feverishly chowing on awesome barbecue between pods. What do you work at the barbecue place? You don't know me. Hemorrhoid Herds. Kurpinator. It's derping time. That's true. Wait, let's see. Oh, Derp Kurp Muhammad Jihad. That I am hardcore radical Islamic. That's right, but I can hear Mark out still. Patty 963. Prince Andrew arrested on his 66th birthday by 6 cops. He better have been. King Charles is cutting it.
We'll see if that turns out to be a scapegoat situation or
it is already. Of course it is.
Yeah.
Wait, like I love people go, oh, we got, ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
Yeah.
Prince Andrew. Wait, Dylan Birch says Charles Hall Tall Whites made a point to mention they actually cared about their children. Some more SRA, UFO, plasma, blood links. I remember the Charles White story. All those alien stories stick with me because the snottiness of the tall whites in his story, where they go, we love our children. And I'm thinking like, oh, okay, so you're just like space racists and you're like, we're Guam to you and in the story. And so why are you talking to our scumbag leaders when all of us hate that they do that? That's the hole in the that they're aliens, is that they come down, they talk to our Satanist leaders and then judge me as if I started a fucking war. I'm getting sick of it. All right, what's the next one? I fall asleep now. Does that make it a derp? If I fall asleep now, does that make it a derp nap? Possibly. You'll have to subscribe to my course to get the answers. Golgotha. Check out the Maritime Threat. Run by Ari Asulan. Sam had him. Okay. Sounds good. What's next? Daniel Hall. Sam Berkowitz, after saying he didn't work alone, said peculiar thing about Satan is that they're not dark New Age occultists. They're all from respectable classes that run the world. He did
100% correct. And Berkowitz was correct about that and what he was saying about being part of a wider cult. Absolutely.
Watch Raised by Wolves depicts The demiurge is an EMF signal. I'm sure someone who makes those signals is calling it that. Really, I think our human leaders are fucking demiurges, and they just take their role over and over. It's like Batman. A lot of people played Batman. Satan is like a Batman to me. Like, you could play, hey, Michael Keaton could play Satan, or you could play him one day if you work hard. Okay. Also shows future tech. Wait, go back. I didn't finish. Conjure decrypted from religious texts. AI playing God Underground. And see you. Okay, I'm gonna look at all that. That sounds like right up my cuckoo alley. Oh, you're talking about that. Wait. You're talking about the fictional show on HBO? Yeah, that's Ridley Scott's making his whole dumb. Boy, how many ways you're gonna resell Gnosticism to me, which is such a catch-all term anyway? Okay, let's see.
It's a slippery path to go down to believe in the whole demiurgic force as the creator of the universe. It's not. It's just the takeover of
that's the wrong
thing.
Yes.
Is the demiurgic force.
That's the universe that you inhabit. So when they say we live in a simulation, and Jazz DeBroni on my show, he goes, simulation of what? That's a great point. A simulation of fucking what, Elon? Oh, you mean of God's reality? And so you just tell a lot of lies, and then idiots have to live in your lies. Again, like Dottie Sandusky, and that's the Matrix.
The first principle of natural law ultimately is that everything is mind and comes out of and stems from the mind, and manifested things have to ultimately originate as thought.
Well,
that's the construct.
Well, then if I controlled your mind, Mark, that would make me God.
I think you're getting it.
I hate these people, dude. Okay, mad prone to degenerate deity. In some cases, black metal bands use Satan as a positive euphemism for Hitler. I know. Hey, I know the guy with one ear that was married to what? I mean, I don't know him personally, but what a dipshit. Wait, go back, dude. I'm not done. Back. Dimmu Borgir did this in the album Death Cult Armageddon. Yeah, Hitler and Satan go together, and much like right sector in Ukraine. Ukrainian rabbi said they're cool now, and they have a red and black flag with a Magid of Jeffrey Epstein on it. Okay. Kurp. Would you have Jimmy on to discuss his beliefs? I have had him on, but Jimmy's doesn't have I have no idea what Jimmy's beliefs are. I don't think they're set in stone or whatever. I know they like astrology. Actually, they probably like Mark because you know about tarot and shit. Okay. What's the next one?
I could definitely discuss tarot extensively.
Stone Cold Rich. Looking up the missing and runaway children at Deer Run Elementary in Indianapolis, about 3 minutes away from the Royal Order of Jesters. Well, I can already solve the mystery. 10 kids disappeared without trace. 3 minutes from the Royal Order of Jesters, did you say? Hey, I think we solved this one, guys. Okay, go to the next one. Me super chatting infuriates my wife. We both win. It sounds like you're engaging in a dialectic, and that's important. Okay. Banner Ace. I was in the gay program as a kid. High five. Me too. They used the Monroe Institute hemisync tapes on me while I did tests and puzzles. Remember image of a sun setting behind a windmill. What were they doing? Trying to see if they could get you to remote view. My friend Brooke had a similar thing. I vaguely remember that windmill now that you're saying that, dude. But again, I have almost no memory of it. I don't think I went to Mars, and I think I failed the test and didn't go any further. That's what I think happened, but I could be wrong. What's next? What's the fixation with the ancient Arabic order of the Nobles of the Mystic Shrine and children's hospitals for birth defects? It's not good. It's not good. I know that. Do you know anything about that? The Shriners and all their.
I know quite a bit about Freemasonry, and it's essentially a Masonic affiliate order at high levels of Freemasonry that is geared and garnered toward the Arabic culture and has a lot of allegories from that culture embedded into it. As it's very complex to discuss Freemasonry in general because it's a complex system, and there are positive aspects of it if it's taught from its true, speculative and esoteric tradition versus what the modern lodge system has become as a club and as something that is basically just a networking institution for people in society. Largely, the lodge system is failing at its duties to teach the real esoteric form of Freemasonry. So
I'm almost against esotericism. I think I'm like, you know what? Why don't you just tell me what I believe and I walk in and I don't got to pay you nothing? And,
You can study that on your own outside of the lodge system,
Yeah,
which is why I tell people it's not really worth getting involved in the lodge system unless they're really going to work to try to clean it up and improve it and bring people in who will come in and teach the lodge's natural law. You know, I've been asking people if they're involved in maybe a master of their lodge to recommend me an honorary 33rd degree like
Right.
Manly P. Hall was given. And
Yeah.
then I would be able to go into the lodge system nationwide and do a little tour, a speaking tour, and teach the lodge system
They
true
will never
natural
let you
law.
do that. They
Well,
will
it's
never
not
allow that.
impossible. They allowed Manly P. Hall to do it, so
Well,
it
he's a
isn't
piece of shit,
impossible.
and you're telling the truth. That poor fucker died with ants in his ears and eyes because he got conned by a con man at the end of his life, and all like.
I
that's the
think
thing,
he had positive elements and he was involved in some darker aspects of the occult as I was earlier in my life.
Mhm.
So I'm not totally down on him. I'm certainly not down on his teachings, but I'm not telling people like 100% put all your faith and, you know, belief into what one person said. I mean, I don't really do that. I study all
Right.
of this from a very
I want
eclectic
principle.
approach,
That's what I want. That's
an
principle.
integral approach from principles.
Mhm.
Absolutely. Yes.
Top and the bottom might endure similar abuse, but they have never been poor. If they've never been poor, they have never felt the joy of a welfare Christmas. I didn't have no Christmas growing up because we were Jehovah's, and you know what happened in school when they passed around cupcakes and shit on, well, you know, for holidays like Christmas. We didn't go complain to the school. I just didn't have a cupcake like a man, and I'm so grateful for that to this day because I got inoculated against herd mentality to a certain degree just by virtue of having to be othered as a kid, which being othered to me is a great gift that I am grateful to that doomsday cult I was in. Nothing against them for that. I appreciate that of them. Okay, this brain's computer hardware, processing potential is defined by genetics and state of preservation. Worldview is software. This is a metaphor. Okay, look, I get the metaphor. I hope this is a metaphor. What happens is people take these metaphors and then they take the creation and make it the creator. Like a computer came out of us, you know, like the internet is to me the meat, the digitalized version of collective unconscious and the thing they talk about when they talk about the Akashic record and the consciousness and all that. There is a way we're all connected like that, and they want to give you this one that I'm talking on. They want to artificialize everything.
I agree that it is a form of hardware, of course, but I don't think it's defined by genetics. It's defined by epigenetics, which is entirely different. So that I would agree with. And worldview definitely is software. That I agree with.
Yeah, because let me tell you, the people who did MK Ultra and Monarch and all this other, why do you think they look into woo-woo occult shit at all? Is because, oh, you can imprint generations. Why do you think Kim Jong or the first Kim Jong that they all was the hero one, he said 3 generations of family have to go in that prison. Yep. Why? Because he knew about epigenetics, because America was doing even worse shit. Okay, sorry. What's your take on utilization behavior? I don't know what that is. When you act on behalf of meaning without conscious interference, that sounds like catching the Holy Spirit. Makes plasma talk make sense. I'll do the. I'm having RA not Salva. I keep calling him Salvatore. That's coming. Don't you worry one bit. Musically, what do you guys listen to today? What do you like?
So much. Obviously, some of my favorites are old school metal, Black Sabbath, Dio, Maiden, Priest, Motorhead, Danzig, the Misfits. I like punk, the Ramones. I
you were in a band,
death
dude, so
metal,
you got
black metal. I have wide variety of music. I like rap, hip hop. You know, I'll listen to just about anything. You know, I like old school rock. You know,
that's how I am too. And
very
I don't
eclectic musical taste wise. Yeah.
I don't have any, like, you know, when I was a kid in there, there'd be like, you got to throw this music away immediately. This is demonic, and a lot of it, 100% is. But the thing is, the stuff I would not listen to now that maybe I would have liked, it's never because I feel like I have to not listen to it. It'll be like maybe there's one lyric that turns me off that I feels like against, not against what I think is and I'll be like, I just don't want to hear. Like, I hate that condemning from the fucking Bishop of Canterbury shit where you're like, this is, I declare. Whatever you feel you want to listen to, that's how I look at it.
Music covers the gamut. I got to mention Paradise Lost. They're one of my favorite bands. The intro music of my show is the band Cathedral. I'm also very into
Is that what that is? I like that.
Yeah, good stuff.
Please talk about the 2004 movie Three Extremes, Dumplings. If you haven't seen it, now I saw the Netflix show Dumplin', which is about a heavyset girl whose mom is played by the chick from Friends and runs beauty pageants, and Dumplin', in order to break down stereotypes about body standards, joins her mother's pageant as a fat chick. I don't know if she wins. I stopped watching after I came. Okay, what next?
I'm not familiar with that movie there.
I'll look it up.
Yeah.
Could you ask Mark about Burning Man Festival? Isn't that place a little too obvious? Well, isn't the saluting the flag too obvious? But you do that.
The idea that we're going to dance, party, and take psychedelics to our way to freedom is not how it works. So I was never really big into the whole festival culture or mindset, and I think it's there to basically make people use some of these things as crutches instead of to really grow in consciousness.
I've seen a lot.
I don't take that approach when it comes to how real freedom is going to manifest. It's going to manifest through very, very difficult and hard personal work and work in the world to change people's minds. I firmly live my life according to the adage of ad astra per aspera, which means to the stars through incredibly hard work, which is what that means. It means work that's going to involve true personal sacrifice is what will get us to the stars.
Okay, let's see. Wait, good. Have you managed to get Brian's response after okay, so my show, The Cutout, that I'm working on here, Brian's direct. I wanted Brian to be the main guy, but it's about a cutout that is trying to stop a minor decriminalization of some cannabis in Texas. And this oligarch who Jimmy Dore's going to play, Jeff Boyardee, has paid this cutout to smear this woman who is getting it going. And anyway, Brian, I had him as the main leader of the company, like the true believer, because Brian is, because his dad's a CIA guy. So I got Brian. No, you're not going to get. Listen, don't kick up on Brian. What are you talking about? Listen, worry about, like, everybody's real worried about podcasters. I actually heard some morons say Joe Rogan is compromised. The UFC announcer who has a dumb fuck podcast is compromised. What the? Not on COVID, he wasn't, morons. Oh, by the way, his club pays better than any club in the country because he's not cheating you like all the other people. You don't know what the fuck compromise means. You don't know what shit. I'm like turning. This is just be me and you taking turns yelling at random people that have annoyed us in the past. Anyway, I'm not ganging up on my friend Brian I've known for 30 years. I love Brian. Brian's a good guy. And let me tell you something about Brian Callen that a lot of people don't know. And this is why I know he's a good guy at the end of the day. Did you think his takes were stupid on Epstein? I thought so too. Do you know he was approached by some rich people because they wanted to run him for the governor of Texas? And Brian was like, I don't want to do that. So think of how bad his takes were. Why would a rich person go, you're perfect to run a state? So some very dark forces came to give him power that because he's a good guy, even if he's not saying what you want at the moment, because sorry, a lot of people's families are in this and it's a little harder for them than, here's America, dude, the benefit of America. You know, I could tell you myself, you don't got to listen to nobody tell you shit until the shit happens to you. Then you'll know. And that's what's going to happen to all of us sooner or later.
That's how I look at the whole Epstein release myself. It's like you weren't really open-minded to listen and pay attention and accept that this was going on 20 years ago, 15 years ago even. I'm screaming this from the rooftops, trying to tell people how this system operates. And now all of a sudden, because it came out through the Department of Justice and some aspects of the mainstream media covered the release, now all of a sudden everybody's like, oh my God, pedophiles and Satanists run our society.
Well, people didn't think, number one, people actually will say, like, they really believe it's just a lot of people doing the best they can in government, and it's the system's bad, and you just got to go in. Okay, but you admit there is a system. That would be the conspiracy, assholes. The system,
and it's designed to work like this.
Every aspect of your life is the conspiracy. Fuck. Oh, wait, I'm gonna get mad again. Okay.
Look, if you don't listen to whistleblowers, if you're really not going to listen to the whistleblowers of a society telling you all the evil that's going on, then you deserve the society that you get. You deserve what you're going to experience and live in, unfortunately.
Does he believe in a good creator God if he does not believe in evil entity? If he does not believe in, I don't think he said he didn't believe in evil entities.
I accept that there's the God of creation is the ultimate expression of all of these things: goodness, law, love, truth. It's the highest expression of all of that. Natural law is made by the God of creation for our optimum benefit, moving us forward in conscious and evolutionary progress as a species. I do not accept this demiurge notion that the universe is an evil construct made and run by an
nonsense.
evil God. That's ridiculous.
It's absolute nonsense. Okay. Requires you. By the way, God doesn't. I don't know if that's a Bible God reference. The Bible God specifically did not require human sacrifice.
I don't mean human sacrifice. I mean sacrifice.
I'm answering him.
Sacrifice of comfort of what we want to do with our lives versus what we're required to do with our lives.
Is it even a sacrifice? I don't want to go hang out with these fucking people, and I don't give a shit about it like a jet ski or whatever, or talking about my watch. I've never understood that. Okay, the whole time, but even when they're my dumbest in my life, I've never understood that. And people just, I get this car and my collect. Who cares? You're gonna die, stupid. Yep. Do Satanists and occultists use ancient artifacts? Of course they do.
I would say they have incorporated them. I don't think they're totally obsessed with anything like that, but I've seen some older artifacts from different cultures incorporated at satanic rituals.
Yeah, if you're in the real, I mean, from what I understand of people that have told me some crazy ass shit they would put through, the people like really into this stuff where they got familiar spirit packs and all that going back. Mm-hmm. The church, like I said, LaVey Church of Satan is like a farm team, like the Serenos for the La MA.
It's AAA ball.
And then then from La MA, maybe the CIA can pick you up. Okay. Right. We evolved beings in an ecosystem is liberating. I don't know what the hell that means. Okay. Kurp working real good on this one. Mark, any insights on Carl Chung? Recently read he was an empiricist.
I like Jung's work. I think it's some of the foundations of alchemical thought and shadow work thought. I think he did some very, very outstanding work when it comes to consciousness and self-improvement. So I have no problem with Jung's work.
Okay, what's next? Or should we need to create a parallel system of independent community power. Buy land with your family to grow food and animals, keep money in the community. I mean, sure. I don't know. I'm going to do the best I can, man. I don't really have skills. I just want to make that clear. Here's my skill is I go and I wouldn't even say I love comedy. I would say it's like a filthy lust, the way jerking off in a Waymo would be. It's not a love. Love is for people. I have a dirty compulsion to go do comedy, and that's what I do to survive. I'm not going to probably be able to. My girl's into that shit. If I make some money, yeah, sure. But this all just seems very. Look, I believe in God, and I think if I'm with the one kingdom, I'm not in the other one. That's all I care about, more than my material circumstance.
I agree. I think any of those things that are mentioned there, I'm not against or opposed to, but it's not the way that we get out of this slavery system. How we do that is by truly teaching and embodying true objective morality and helping people to understand how natural law operates to bring us the consequences of our behavior.
Maybe stop. I mean, I'm not saying the guy that wrote that, but like every time somebody wants to label it on one group, like it's just the Jews or just the Catholics or just the Freemasons, you got to get over that.
So unidimensional in thinking. Right. It's so childish.
But what gang should I join in this prison? Yeah. I know I got to join a gang to survive prison.
That's just pointing the finger externally. You just want to point the finger externally. It doesn't even matter what percentage is made up of what types of people, what groups. They're all working together. It's all the same mindset.
Right.
And if we buy into their nonsense, we're going to become enslaved.
It's painfully obvious. It should be painful.
Understand real morality, we're going to be free. There's no one group. That's such a childish, unidimensional way of thinking about it. I tell people you got to look at what the dark occultists really are is they're like ancient psychologists that understood thousands and thousands and thousands of years ago in human society how to manipulate everybody, how to get them thinking the way they want them thinking. This group of ancient advanced psychologists, dark psychologists, and they put them under their thumb by getting them to believe a bunch of nonsense. And that's still what's going on in the world today.
Oh man, Mark Window's video, if anybody hasn't watched yet, ancient Egyptian crowd control, and it's about the Society of OCD of Egypt. I love how he puts it because it really made me understand it better, really well. and you see them tied up with bullshit all day by these fucking corrupt priests, dressed like idiots, inbred to fuck.
Yep.
And the whole society now has all these gods. That's why polytheism sucks ass, because it's like paying more mob bosses than. All right, what on earth is happening? I've been waiting for this. Thanks for having Passio on. Yeah, I'm glad I got Passio on, because Passio put me on real early on a lot of shit. Mark, is Taylor Swift Anton's daughter?
So it's sort of an interesting conspiracy theory. She does look facially, like bone structure wise, a lot like her. I don't know if it's actually.
Look, if you don't travel, there was some actress that did some anonymous post, and it stuck out in a sea of ones that are bullshit. And she wasn't going like, no, I mean, I'm sure there's clone stuff, but if you travel, you'll see that there's like a lot of people look the same, like a lot, like. There's only
genetics and bone structure do strange things, and a lot of people get doppelgangered.
Races are inbred subsets. You get that? And so when you see, since I saw somebody put the Alex Jones is that comic, what's his name? And I promise you, he's not that.
Bill Hicks. Yeah, that's ridiculous.
Like, that's a certain kind of Texas fathead that is just. And I like Alex and Bill. I'm not, but I'm just saying. It's like, you know how in the Irish there's only two facial outcomes for them, old baby or spooky witch, and you name an Irishman, I'll tell you which one he is.
And
Colin Quinn,
she is facially reminiscent of Zena LeVay in her youth.
Yeah, boy, don't ever go to China. You'll think they just clone people. Okay, my wife Susan has a demon affiliate grotto Harry Lasso. It looks like your hat. Oh, okay. She hates me super, and so give her a shout. Oh, is this your wife that was like Kurp Left's lies? I like that she followed the lore of this stupid conceit of the show. That's great. Okay, what's next? Says the guy. Wait, in Western corporate culture, analogous to Luciferian theology, wherein ambiguous goals and KPIs push rule breaking, while the person who imagines actualizing bears the karmic blame, not the superior. I understood it mostly, so I think yes. But
karmic blame or culpability comes from action. That's why the word karma means action in the Indus Valley tradition. So I always talk about that the order follower is always more morally culpable than the order giver. The one who conceptualizes evil deeds is not the one who gets the brunt of the moral blame or culpability. It is or consequence. It is the one who actually performs the behavior in real life in the 3D world, and that is the order follower. The police and the military are far more karmically culpable for the evils that are happening in this world than are the people who design these ideas and systems. They're just crazy people speaking to other people with bad ideas, with bad notions, bad ideas, and bad suggestions. What we should really be doing is laughing these people out of existence. We should be going, you're out of your mind, you're crazy, and I'm not doing that.
That's all I can do now.
You're an idiot and a moron for even dreaming that people should behave that way, and then mock them and laugh them out of existence and don't do their bidding and what they're telling you to do. But will cops and military quit their job and do that? No, because they're attached to their sick, satanic, evil system.
Okay, so wait, the next... I feel like we skipped some, but we... Kurt and Crow 77 radio interview fan base telling me, okay, cool.
Yeah, Crow's pretty good. He's interviewed me. Yeah.
Sam Tripley had old Damagard on a few days ago. He derps hard heavy. Please get him on with. Yeah, I want to get Mark.
He gets into. I've met Oli in person. He gets into false flags a lot and just general mind control techniques and tactics. I think he's very good.
Like Guy Fawkes Day. Okay, wait. That was a early false flag to go after Catholics who were the Muslims of King James, the homo who gave us that Bible. Okay, wait. What's the next one? I feel like we skipped something, but keep going. Let me see. Kurt, I'm new to Monarch program. My favorite band is showing a bunch of symbolism, dealing with Masonic Saturn cult in their music videos. Oh, that's probably most of the bands. And you don't even have to be in on the thing to do that, because I think there's only so many Legos to build stories out of, let's say. And so they're going to repeat quite a lot.
Also, producers like suggesting stuff like that because they know it'll sell in the population. Symbols definitely attract people's mind.
And they have a song referencing alien programming. Can you please refer me where I can learn more on the alien aspect of Monarch? I mean, my friend Emma's podcast is great because she talks to Monarch victims, but the alien aspect, keep in mind, really, I'm trying to pick up themes and not worry about shit like if it's alien. The themes are, because when I got into this by looking up alien bullshit, and the themes of for some reason, there's these people that want you to see them but not know who they are, and they want to do sexual things to you and then lecture you. And you'll see a lot of commonalities between the aliens and, say, King Charles.
This is stuff I usually don't get into in like a first interview. I've done an unbelievable deep dive and an enormous amount of research into this aspect.
Oh, yes,
I talk about it in my presentation called Cosmic Abandonment. But again, human origins are very tied to this information.
Mm-hmm.
But the problem with that is it's such a gigantic field of information. Most people don't research it deeply enough and then form really wild and out there opinions on it instead of actually researching the fragmented knowledge that is still available and with us, and we can garner a lot about human origins from. So it's a difficult thing because you really have to research it very eclectically and deeply, and most people don't.
Okay, wait, we skipped some because I want to read this one right here. You guys have to stop paying me money with super chats. This is a pain in the ass. Okay. You meditate, Kurp? I pray to God. Is that the same? I'm joking. Have fun. LOL, these bots in the comments whining because Mark is telling the truth. Yeah, no, I got the impression that Mark has been botted before as we were talking.
I don't even necessarily believe that it has to be bots. I think I'm incredibly hated because there are people who are so attached to this satanic system that they will kill whistleblowers.
Well, they're bots. They're bots. A robot's a worker.
I don't know. I think there's just a lot of dumb people out
well,
there.
I don't mean they're necessarily digital. Even if you're a person, you're a fucking bot. You know what Kissinger would call you? You mind-controlled fuck. It was
totally
bio-programmed.
That's right.
Bio-programmable human robotoid. That's the dipshits who would be saying stuff at you.
Useful idiots for this cult. Very useful idiots for the cult.
You know I'm not going to... Look, if I'm wrong, you know I was wrong on my own steam because I'm a real loose cannon and I'm a danger to an organization that doesn't want someone shooting their mouth off, which would be me. Kurp, a few weeks ago, I was intrigued by occultists docking their trouser flutes in the night. Now you lay Mark on me. I'm derped. Yeah, well, a lot of it has to do with that. Okay. Charles Darwin Bible was Paradise Lost. I hadn't heard that, but probably. He's from a weird family. Jehovah's Witnesses don't celebrate any pagan holidays, don't get involved in politics. They refuse war, and all the ones I've met are really nice. That's right. And unfortunately, that makes them perfect for the CIA to infiltrate in their missionary work because we are neutral. Well, I'm saying I'm not in it now, but politically neutral. So that's a great cover story. And so what'll happen is when Russia or some country bans Jehovah's Witnesses, that trickles back to my mother as, they hate the true word of God, because she would never suspect that they could be infiltrated by the CIA, who of course is going to do that. They're going to send guys to go be on Rogan's show or hang out in the club and date a waitress. They're going to do it at the cellar. They're going to do it in every walk of life. Don't ever think that they will not infiltrate every single part, because they did. It's in front of you now. It doesn't mean you got to go have a Jason Bourne adventure. It just means be aware. All bow down, split divine justice. I prefer the term pincher of the loaf. Some people try to defend other gods from other pantheons. I call them evil. Most of them want human blood, not trashing Christian God. You know what? I'm going to start a show called where I go to haunted houses and like make fun of the ghosts. This is my idea. And I say laugh at whatever you want of these stupid fucking not alive thought forms. Opinion on Dan Duvall? I don't have any opinion about. Look at that's not the Mormon guy, is it? I don't know. Can you ask Mark about how Baal could have been pronounced? Bill Ball, how it's relevant today? That's a long question. If you do
go back to Sumerian, Akkadian, languages, both A's would have been short and pronounced. So in the original, it would perhaps have been pronounced Baal. However, today we just truncate it and put them together and say Baal.
I was saying Baal as a kid, so I was.
It could be pronounced Baal with a long A as well. So that's a acceptable English pronunciation, but in the original, I would say it would be Baal.
Is the Baal of Peor, was that the master of holes, or am I misinformed on that?
I have not heard that term.
Yeah, well, master, I'm saying, but Baal, and then there's Baal Amon, and these are things are titles.
Oh, yeah, because it ultimately represented the sun, or the force of light and knowledge, which they kept to themselves as dark occultists. So yeah, it was a symbol that represented not their knowledge.
Maybe the whistleblower with direct experience of Satanism and a message of objective morality for 20 years is worth listening to. I don't know. I'm joking. All right, wait. Somebody said something really stupid that I want to put up, and they paid to say it, so I'm going to honor it. Let's see. Where's the thing about we were using the government's internet to talk about this? Do you see that? That's one of my favorite. They said we're talking shit on it, but now you're using the government's internet. That is some.
I'm not a Luddite, and I'm very into technology because technology is going to be the mechanism by which we propagate the truth and the message of true morality and natural law.
Yeah, their system does backfire, by the way.
Write notes on pieces of paper, pass them to your fellow schoolmate.
My buddy Barry Crimmins. So Barry Crimmins,
you need technology to communicate to a wider audience, please. Anybody that doesn't understand that technology is part of the solution.
That was not a real comment.
They're not all okay. Well, hopefully
they're trying to fuck with you. Barry Crimmins, my friend, is dead now. Who really did a lot of good for especially the kind of stuff that's in the Epstein files now. When he would talk about all the evil shit America does around the world, not helping people and killing them and enslaving them, because this is the land of the plumed serpent and nothing good. When they go, why, if you don't like it, why don't you leave then? And he go, I don't want to be a victim of its foreign policy. That's why. Okay.
I'd answer that question because I'm a real American and understand true original American values and principles, and you're the one that needs to leave because I ain't going nowhere.
Oh, you just Hulk Hogan the shit out of them. All right, sorry. The Thinking Colorist. Can't wait to listen to this, but trying to get in contact with you about Eric and Don Jr. going to the Hill School in Pottstown, PA, and Taylor Swift at Wincroft down the street. Oh, I'm being Soul Joel's. Go on KurpMasterComedy.com. Are you coming out to that if you're
I like
around,
that
Mark?
place.
That's why I got to hang out more.
I love that place. That's a cool place. Good food, good entertainment. I'll
come and tell me there, dude.
Absolutely.
Thinking Colorist. You can explain it to me there.
Yeah, you got it. I'll be there.
What's the? I would say they are not a branch of Satanism. Satanism of the Epstein cult. They're Baal worshippers.
You could look at it as a sect, right? I think that's perfectly acceptable. And this is the pedophilic, and it's the it's getting people compromised. This is blackmail. This is the blackmail operation of the worldwide network of Satanism. That's how you have to look at Epstein. And he's not the only one. There's lots of other people doing
really, Satan is that. Satan's the original blackmailer archetype. Or like, you're bad, see? I have this dirt on you.
Hook. Yeah, get them on the hook. And then get them to think, well, I'm committed to this now. Now I have to keep doing it.
I mean, it's one of the most satanic things there is blackmail. I think it's the whole thing, the basis of it. Sorry to bother you by giving you money. I forgive you. P.S. Next time research where you're moving to. Tender of the Pincher. Well, you have to work long and hard and go through a lot of initiation to become Tender of the Pincher. Until I'm satisfied that your fourth eye has been properly gaped, I can't just put you in that position. Mark, you understand. This is it's the way the school works.
I hear where you're coming from.
Why the obsession with the legal system? Because it's legal system satanic. That's in most religions. All this, the law is a reflection of how you suck. So that's why we have a corporate system. That is the satanic system.
And that's what I want to get to and wrap up with is what is Satan's system on the earth? And it is law, man's law, and government.
Yeah, you're looking at it, kids. It's by the way, it said that in the Bible. I know people. I was in a weird cult. I admit it, but they got this one part right, which is when Satan hey, to Jesus, you want to have all the kingdoms of the earth? If you don't have to eat a kid, just bow down and say, I'm good. It's a real. The moral of that story is real easy to see if you want to see it.
Yeah, don't stay attached to worldly power. That's not God's kingdom. God's kingdom lives inside of us, and it's natural law and conscience and true objective morality.
All right, we've got to the last comment. I'm all thank God, because I can't believe how much I hate to make money because it's a pain in the ass. I'm not going to not read your shit if you paid. Kurp, what are marks on Gates? I think you mean not gay.
Yeah,
but it might have been gay. And Tavistock, Gate Kid here.
Well, they called gifted and talented education something different when I went through it, and when I was recommended for it in the first grade of grade school by my first grade teacher, it was known as MG, or the mentally gifted program, MG or MGP, but we just called it MG. And I was taken into it at age 6 in the first grade and taken out of my school one day a week. My family couldn't afford to send me to a completely different school, which was actually initially recommended. I talk about this a little bit in my podcast material where, I was basically singled out of my school because I was so bored with the curriculum that I wasn't becoming disruptive, but I just wasn't paying attention. And my teacher would ask me questions, that they were covering in the book that they were going through, and I would just rattle off all the answers.
Yeah, I read ahead. I was bored.
She asked me questions from the last chapter of the book, and like I knew it all. And she's like, this kid's not disruptive. He's just not paying attention because he's bored and he's not challenged. So, they sent me for testing. I tested like off the charts IQ wise, like 154 IQ.
That's pretty good.
And they're like, we got to put this kid in a special program. They showed my mother the tuition and she laughed out loud hilariously to them. She's like, are you out of your mind? And say, well, the best we could do is put you in a public program 1 day a week and it'll be a specialized program. And it was called MG. It's very similar to GATE. I had nothing but positive experiences in it.
Yeah.
I mean, they taught you positive critical thinking skills, computer programming, like it is. I would never undo my experience with it. My teachers were, particularly one teacher, Ted Ellerkamp. I talk about him. I feel like he really instilled within me a reverence for knowledge and critical thinking. And without someone like that as an influencer in my life, my life might not have gone in the direction that it did later on.
Well, it was a privatized thing, so there's a lot of variation. Do you know what I mean?
Yes, absolutely.
Hoisted
I had
by
a very
his
positive
petard.
experience within it. Yes.
I think you spelled petard wrong. All right, Matt. Boy, we went long, but it's good, man. So I want to let you do the last word.
Yep.
Tell them where to check you out.
So, God's system is natural law. It comes down to one thing. Learn what your true property is and what it is not. Respect the property of others, meaning their life, their rights, their physical property, etc. Don't coerce, defraud, or do physical harm to others. Don't initiate that. You always reserve the right to defend yourself with physical force if you are accosted and initiated with violent force coming at you, okay, with initiation of harm. That is natural law. That is God's system on earth. It comes down to one law: don't steal. So don't take life that doesn't belong to you. Don't take well-being that doesn't belong to you. Don't take property or the security in one's living space, or don't take free will from someone. Don't take their natural rights away. And so it all comes down to knowing what your rights and property are, and don't steal those things from others. Okay? So, and the whole system of natural law boils down to one dynamic. The more moral a population of beings become, the more free that population of beings become. And the more immoral they become and they ignore God's system on earth of natural law, the more enslaved those people are going to become. So as morality increases, freedom increases. And as morality declines, freedom declines and slavery is propagated.
That's why they want you to be immoral, so they have a justification to put like the prison system. Like they do it, We're all the black people in the ghetto is everyone. The whole planet. The plan is to get you. Oh, look at how awful they are. So that's why if you're like a fucking racist, fuck you, because you're the same motherfucker. You think there's only two races: the psychopaths, which is this many people, and then the rest of the cattle that they look at, and you really don't have to be one of them.
That's right. And it's people choosing either God's system of natural law and true objective morality, and then embodying that within themselves and aligning themselves with it, and then enacting behavior that is in alignment with natural law, and therefore helping to bring about through the consequence of natural law more freedom in the world, or they're part of the satanic system. And here's what the satanic system is: the idea that some people can ever be authorities over other people. Because let's look at it very logically and simply. If I claim authority over another being and I say I am the authority over this being, they must align their behavior with what I say is right behavior, or what I say is wrong behavior they may not do. I can arbitrarily dictate and decide those terms, and I am therefore the authority over this other being's behavior. What have I claimed? I have just made a claim of ownership upon the other being. Anybody who claims to be an authority over another being is claiming ownership of that other being. And if you don't think so, You're just incorrect. You haven't thought it through logically enough in a simple logical progression. If I claim that I'm the authority over another being, I have just claimed the usurpation of the free will of that other being. I am saying I get to make all the decisions about how you will govern your life and the behaviors which you will take. So I am claiming ownership upon them. There is a name for the definition of claiming ownership upon another being. It's called slavery. That's why we have words and definitions, ladies and gentlemen, because if you claim the authority over another being, you are actually saying that being is my property. And that's all government ever has been. In the old world order, they called it kingship. It was called royalty or kingship. And there was one authority over all the subjects or slaves. In the new world order of government, it is now divested into an oligarchical.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sorry, I accidentally hit my space button. An oligarchical set of few people that call themselves government, but also make the claim, we are the lawmakers, we are the authorities, we will author the law. And what are they saying to the God of creation? They're saying to the God of creation, we are ignoring your laws, we are enacting our morally relativistic laws, and we are usurping your place as the lawmaker or the author of law under natural law. That is what Satan wants people to believe in. And again, I'm not talking about it as a god, I'm talking about it as a force.
Satan Inc.
Yes, the idea of the adversarial force in nature wants to push people into the reverse of God's system. And the reverse of God's system is the belief in authority, the belief in man's law, the belief in government, and the belief of condoning all of those forms of violence and pushing them violently and harmfully against other people and their natural rights. And if you're part of that system, you cannot be a good person. Championing the system of man's law is the usurpation of God's law on earth, of the system of natural law. You are either a supporter of God's system and you condone natural law and you condone as morality increases, freedom increases. So we get on the right page regarding objective morality and we'll help the human species become more free as a species. Or you are supporting and condoning the satanic system of man's law, man's government, the violence that goes with it, and the usurpation of God on earth. And that makes you a bad person by default. There is no good people. There are no good people on that side. Blanket statement, get as offended as you like. If you support that satanic system, you're a bad person.
Well, by the way, guys, by the way, well said, by the way, but, the thing of treating your neighbor as yourself, the big trick that Satan Inc., a division of Baal Corp, does to you is teach you to hate yourself. So if I treat you as I treat myself, well, I fucking hate myself and I make myself sick and I do all, and you're going to be over here, be happy. I won't let it happen, Mark. I won't let you be happy.
And that's why the apophatic version of the golden rule is the better one. If you state the golden rule in the positive, it could look ambiguous. Treat others as you would want to be treated. Well, again, if you have a self-loathing person, right, they might not want to be treated very well.
Not hate yourself, so you can have the concept,
Right. If you say, don't do to others that which you do not want others to do to you, the inverse of the golden rule, it's saying the same thing, but it's stating it in the negative. Just don't do the initiations of harm that you don't want done to yourself. And most people can agree. You don't want to be murdered. You don't want to be assaulted. You don't want to be raped. You don't want to be trespassed upon. You don't want to be stolen from. You don't want to be coerced. And you don't want to be deceived. Don't do those things to others. Don't steal from others. Learn what your property boundaries are. Learn what others are. And just treat people with the respect that you want to be treated with. And then we'll become truly objectively moral, and we'll align our behavior to God's system of morality on earth, and we'll become free people and not slaves. We do the inverse, and we keep trying to condone man's law, government, coercion, and the coercion of other people and their natural rights.
Don Rowe doctrine.
Expect slavery. expect slavery. That's all you're going to get from that satanic system, because that's all it wants to create.
Well, Mark, I mean, that sounds well and good for you, but I have experienced the initiation of trauma, and now I want to inflict it on other people. All right, thank you, brother. Thank you so much for coming on. I really appreciate it.
For more of my work, just check out my website. It's
Yeah.
been there the whole show, whatonearthishappening.com. All my information is all there, free of charge. And if you want to support it, I do have a gifts area. You could go there and support my work by getting physical copies of what is already out there for free.
All right, thanks, guys. You all got derp, so you can't say you didn't.